Evening, folks. Oops, I've just disappeared. Apologies. Listen, welcome to my Hogmanay live stream. Tonight I'm joined by my usual sidekick, Mr. Delboy.
Hello.
Evening, Squire.
How are you? I'm okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, listen, thanks very much for tuning in tonight. I don't know about you guys, but the last time I actually went out for New Year was probably over 25 years ago. I've never been one for New Year's. Do you go out much? I know obviously things are a bit difficult now, Dale, but were you a frequent going to London and all this bollocks, watching fireworks?
No. But back in the day, yeah, we'd meet up in the pub, go round all the pubs. 12 o'clock, the pubs would still be open till 1 because they had a special license to stay open. And then we'd make a decision if we weren't too pissed to go to a club. I suppose I did that all the way up until before I went to Manchester. So that would be 1998. So we are talking 20 odd years,
Yeah. Don't know about you, but I mean, I know the Edinburgh thing, New Year party thing that they have. It's if you do, I've never been to it. If you do go in, you're not going to get a taxi home, and you can forget trying to get a hotel. So you're basically screwed. You know what I mean? It's so bollocks to that. So yeah, listen, I am going to make a more very quiet sound. Rocket Bunny, you're saying it's very quiet. Why is that? Is that both myself and Dale?
Yeah. Is that me as well?
The easiest fix, Rocket Bunny, is turn your speakers up. Is anyone else getting low sound? I don't know why that would do that. I've never ever had that.
Yes, both, he says. So...
Right, yeah. What about anyone else? How's the sound? Colin, is it all right your side? We need to get this right before we get going. Yeah, I'm thinking Highlander's saying the sound's fine. I reckon your speakers are needing turned up, mate. That's certainly easier than us fanning about. That's right. Listen, before I get started, important business. Oh shit! It keeps cutting out. There we go. I don't normally drink in the house, but you know what? It's New Year, and you know what? A cardinal sin. I didn't put them in the bloody fridge, so they're actually warm.
Yeah, that's why mine's in the fridge. I was going to get mine a little bit close. I've just got the standard can of Coke in case my throat gets a bit dry.
Shit, I think it's going to explode. Hang on.
Don't get it over Pac-Man. Poor old Pac-Man. Jesus.
Whoa. Wait a minute. God, you can tell I don't drink. I can only pour a bloody thing of beer. Right.
Do you remember back in the day they made these things called widgets, and they were supposed to make a bitter, make it so it had a head and things like that.
Give it a better head. Are they still a thing?
I don't know. That's what I was asking you because you got a can there.
I don't know. There we go. That looks all right. Let's try it. Cheers. Yeah. Oh fuck! You know what? I'm tempted to turn this. I'm going to turn this infernal background thing off. Virtual background. Fuck off. Will I do a blur? We'll try a blur. Who's that? Wait a minute. That's better.
There you go.
That's better. Yeah, there we go.
Look, you've got to remember that I've got blurry vision, right? And what you've done there doesn't help. No, it's perfectly fine. I can see you really sharp and the background's blurred.
Right, so listen, cheers, folks.
Yep. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you. Well, we'll wait till New Year before we wish everyone happy New Year.
Yeah, I mean, basically, thanks for all your support through the years for Mamemeister and support for me for this year.
Yeah, listen, before we start, I just wanted to have a quick see who's actually in tonight. We've got 14 already, which is excellent. I mean, when I do these videos at like prime times, like Christmas Eve, Hogmanay, that's when you expect people to be with their families, their loved ones, their friends, whatever. So I wouldn't be offended if nobody tuned in. In fact, I'm astonished that anybody watches these, so I always do appreciate anyone that takes time to do it. So Joe Edmonds, 2 minutes, or you'll have to play Chinaman. I was like, well, you were in it 1 minute past 10. There's always one. Colin Jones, Avenger. Good evening, Avenger. Happy New Year, guys. Greece time, 12:30. Oh, happy New Year to you, mate. We've got another 1 hour and 22 minutes, I think. Have a nice New Year. Best wishes for you and the family. Thank you. We've got Milford Swinbuckle. We've got Retro Russ. Got Mr. Colin Jones. We've got Rocket Bunny. We've got John Ziggy. Happy New Year, guys. Oh, another person from Greece. Bloody hell! I've cornered the Grecian market. I think they okay, hell, there must be. That's good. John Ziggy, Milford Swinbuckle. We've got Mark Whatever. We've got Mr. Games Guru Extraordinaire, Mr. Bill Harbison. Good evening, Bill. How are you, mate? Yeah, that's a good turnout. I expect people are going to dip in and out, which is fine. Time-wise for this, we're going to get to the bells anyway. We'll get to midnight, and then we'll see how things go.
I'll see if I can turn my channel over to Big Ben when it gets to.
Oh, that's actually not a bad shout, because I was just going to go with my PC clock. It might be wrong. Evening, Steve. Hi, guys. Sorry I can't be along. Listen, mate, don't apologise. Absolutely no need to apologise. Drop in and out. Think of it like a pub. You can drop in for a pint and then you can go home and you can come back when the missus isn't looking. I also did mention, if anybody wants to join the stream, all you need is a microphone. You don't even have to do the video. The video would be nice, but if you do want to join it, you don't want to be on camera, absolutely no problem. It'd be nice to have some people on. What to do is, if you are wanting to join it, put a comment down below and we'll come to somewhere. If you're on Discord, I can ping you the stream link and you can join us. Again, absolutely no pressure whatsoever. So we know. I think it's fair to say, Dale, that 2022 has been a shit year for a lot of different reasons. I mean, 2021 was bollocks because of COVID, but fucking hell, 2022 has been an absolute blinder, isn't it?
Yeah, I sort of looked at it just like I do every other year. If you remember the Hogmanay last year, I was here and I said, look, this is the padlock to the door to COVID, and now we're opening the doors to a better future. It might be a bit rocky at the beginning, but let's hope that it will be a good one. And, things happen, don't they? And all I can say at the moment is without going into what I'm doing tomorrow, is that I will be looking positively. It can't be any worse than it was last year from a personal point of view, but from a world point of view, we go in with still a war going on. So,
Yeah, I'm one of these people. I don't look upon it as a new year, a new beginning, because it's just an ongoing calendar. It's just a day. It's a day. It's a day. It just happens to be a date, a certain date. But people that think that when all the shit gets to the 31st of the month, you say, right, you've got somebody at the gate to 1st of January. Right, COVID, fuck off. You're not getting in. Brexit, no, sorry, mate. You're barred.
Yeah.
Energy prices, I've told you, don't come back. Fuck off. It doesn't work like that. But you know what? Again, we can only hope that things do get better. I mean, I think the cost of living, I've never known in my lifetime. I've never known the cost of living to be what it is. Everything. My sister was telling me she buys like vegetable oil and she normally pays like 60 pence, and it was like £2.40. Like something that was 60 pence. It's £2.40. How does that work?
I don't know.
How does that work? And it's everything. Absolutely everything. Anyway, listen, we're not going to have a rant. We're here to have a bit of fun. I mean, I look upon this. My girlfriend, she went out for a meal with her friends, and she's currently in a think it's a bowling club for kind of Hogmanay do, and she said to me, "Do you want to come through?" And I went, "Not really." I look upon this is my virtual pub with my friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And of course, I should think the hardest thing is going to be wishing her Happy New Year at 12 o'clock. You know, when people used to send text messages and they didn't come through till about 3 o'clock in the morning because every bugger in the world is sending a text message dead on midnight.
Right, before I forget, because I'm terrible, I'll think of something and you'll be talking, I'll go, right, remember that, and then you'll stop talking, oh, fuck, what was I going to say? What the hell is going on with this? Is it Prime fucking energy drink? Have you seen it?
No, I know nothing about it.
You don't know anything about it?
No.
There's, if you just Google Prime energy drink, there's a certain YouTuber, Logan Paul, and somebody, they have pulled together, they've made this energy drink. It's made of like coconut, whatever, and it sells for like £1.99. And people are quite literally queuing up. There was a picture of people queuing up outside Aldi's at 3 o'clock in the morning. There was a headline, some guy, I don't know where he came from, spent £1,000 on his kids to get him this stuff. Apparently, it sells for £1.99. You're restricted to like 3 cans, and there's people buying it for £10 a can.
Yeah, I've just Googled it, and it says here on eBay at the moment it's £5.99. And then there's another one. There's another one that says it comes in a £16.99. There's one at £499. £499. You're joking? That's ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to give that any more time, but that's just fucking nonsense. And then I was looking at, I mean, I really don't, I genuinely do not watch the news because what can I do about it? And it's just depressing.
Yeah, yeah.
You never, back in the 80s, you would have all the bad news, and then they would say, and on the lighter side of the news, 2 men from Watford did such and such, and it would be a bit of fun. You don't get that anymore. You don't get any happy news stories.
Yeah, they used to have them at the end, didn't they? They used to always have in the last 10 minutes a localized story or a story that's quite heartfelt or light listening type thing. And I think that's where they put the war now. They don't say anything's happening in the war at the beginning. They do it as a closing story to tell you it's still going on, and that's just a downer. You know what I mean?
Good evening, Mr. Games Made of Cardboard. Dale, have you actually checked out his channel?
I'm a subscriber to it.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I mean, there's YouTube channels, and then there's YouTube channels. He's created the most amazing things. He does like films of Doom, and he actually has cardboard cutouts. And you really need to watch it. It's mind blowing. In fact, he got a mention on, is it like an Indian news channel a couple of weeks ago.
He came into the room when I was just adminning in the background, and all of these people were coming in, and basically I subscribed to him immediately. You know, you said, "Oh, you've got to go to this," and I went, "Okay, subscribed." And yeah, I keep meaning to go to some of the more newer ones, and I have started to do that now. But I must admit, his name at the moment, I think probably because I've only seen one video, which is the first one when I subscribed, it hasn't come up in my feed an awful lot because, you know, but it will happen, yeah, for definite.
Yeah, but I'd like to think, how did your subscribers rocket when you had that shout out in the news?
No,
I'd like to think it did. But anyway, yeah, seriously, go and subscribe. It's an absolute awesome. He doesn't need me to tell you to subscribe because he's got 50 million times more subs than myself. But honestly, you know, there's 1,000 different YouTube channels, or billion. There's probably millions of YouTube channels, and most of them are like as dull as dishwater. But now and again, somebody will come along with something completely unique. And trust me, you need to, if you're into games at all, then you need to absolutely check that one out. Mr. Nicholas is saying that I'm happy to drink I'm happy my drink of choice is single malt, not prime energy drink. Yeah. Absolutely.
Rocket said, let's just say he puts his Nintendo cardboard bollocks to shame.
What was that again? There was a thing. I can remember a few people in a forum talking about that. Nintendo were like, was it some app or game, and you made cardboard?
Yeah, there were two things that happened. I think very early in the day, you could actually make cardboard that
Like peripherals.
the device fitted into, or you could make a device out of cardboard. You actually had it was like origami. You put the slot here and all of that sort of stuff. But I think the company then developed into that augmented VR type stuff, and they did the last Mario Kart with a proper car with a camera on, and as you go past the cards, it turns into actual things that would be on the road. Do you see what I mean? Because the camera picks it up and augments it. I think, but the cardboard Nintendo that I remember back in the day was this making this like a fishing rod or something out of cardboard and
Nintendo
all sorts of
Labo.
stuff.
So a couple of guys are saying.
Yeah.
Good evening, Ian. How are you, buddy? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing about Nintendo. They've never been afraid, out of all these companies, they've never been afraid to try something different.
No. They've been around donkey's years because they started off as a playing card company, didn't they? Back in the turn of the
That's right.
last century, like 1899
Yeah.
or something stupid.
What sort of bits of hardware have they been the first to bring to market? I mean, I think it's fair to say that with probably the SNES pad, that set the sort of precedence for all future gamepads.
The first electrical device that I think that Nintendo did, and this is just from memory,
Game &
because they
Watch.
were into card games, I think when Pong was coming out, they made a solitaire machine. I think when everybody was developing Pong, they said, "Oh, we can do this with cards." Well, because the cards are perfectly set with just specific graphics, we can do solitaire, and that can be our electronic device. But that's only a guess and from memory because it's been Nintendo to me when I was at school was the company that they said would be in the next century. That's all I remember. When I was at school and they were talking about what companies are going to be around in the year 2000, Nintendo was in the top 5. That's all I can remember. Banks were, all of that sort of stuff, but Nintendo were 5th, I think.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of like gaming hardware, they had the well, you can't see because I've bloody blurred it, but it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
my what's it called again? Virtual
Boy. Yeah.
Anybody that knocks it always annoys me when people say, "Oh, it's shite." Have you tried it? No, but it's shite. Well, how can you say it's shite? It's not something I use very often, and probably the reason is not because it's shite, is because it's quite expensive now, and I think it's all mechanical the way it works. But it's clever. It's really, really clever. And I keep thinking, do I sell it? No, because you know what? That is one of these things that is only going to get more expensive. It really is.
I think this is similar, but I told you my story, didn't I? I was in the States when that came out, and in the States I went into I think it was a Walmart, and they had a separate section for it. They put it behind a glass cabinet, and all you could do was put your eyes up to the lenses. It was all behind a piece of glass perspex.
Right, yeah.
And that's why I got it wrong, that the stand is not made of plastic, it's made of metal, because you corrected me and you said, no, the stand's metal. And I said, oh, I always thought it was plastic. It looked very flimsy, but mine was behind this perspex glass, so I couldn't sort of like tell.
Somebody's CSK saying the Power Glove, Rob the Robot. Well, that was another thing that came with the NES.
Yeah, it's that thing that played with you if you didn't have a friend.
Steady. What exactly? How did it play with you? What did it actually do?
As far as I really don't. I remember. I know what it looks like. I know
I can see
what it's supposed to do. It's just I don't know if you put a controller in its hand or it was a controller which adapted based on what was going on the screen. You know, it's
Yeah.
inside it. You see, it would pick up what's on the screen, and I think it moved left or moved right. You know, it didn't do much. It did left, right, up, down, and a fire. So if it saw you moving left, it would probably move left with you if it was a fighting game, so that it could fight. You know, but
was that like an add-on, or did that come with? Well, there you go. CSK saying it was pointless. Really, it received commands from certain games and would move spinning discs.
Yeah, it was. It's like almost like a big track for as a video game thing, if you know what I mean. But I never had an NES. Remember, we talked about it, and I said I never knew a friend who had an NES, and we discussed whether the UK really considers the NES a success or a failure, because the world looks at it as a success, but from a UK perspective, I don't think so. But
I knew a guy that had one, and his name was Keith. I remember that much. The guy that I knew this guy called Keith, and he had an NES.
Yeah. So, like I said, I knew no one, and I only knew the NES pretty much when some film would be on and they were showing stuff from the 80s, and there'd be an NES under the telly. Somebody would be playing Duck. You know, Back to the Future is a perfect example where they got Duck Hunt. You know, but he's playing that in an arcade machine. But what I'm trying to get at is, I knew that was a home. You know, you had it in the home as well with a light gun and that sort of stuff.
Evening, Ox. Well, you mate. But so I mean, what else did they have? The Power Glove. I don't know much about. I think that was it was kind of touted as a sort of like a controller, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you put this glove on and it had lots of plastic over the top of it.
Yeah.
I think you played like this with it.
I think it was a bit of gimmick from Evening Denny, from what I can kind of gather. But yeah, I mean, other things. So they came up with the first like virtual device. They what else did they come up with? They pioneered when they brought out the SNES. They had a cartridge that allowed you to play the Game Boy on it, which was quite unique for the time. I bought one and I never really used it. It was a bit of a gimmick again, but you know, I was thinking, why would you want to play a Game Boy game in your TV? Says he who plays them in the bloody 52-inch telly downstairs now. But yeah, that was quite unique. Obviously, what else did they have? We had the 3DS. Well, even the DS. The DS was revolutionary. It had a touch screen. It had two screens.
And you used the microphone to blow into it so that you could do certain stuff. And
did you ever?
I think the clever thing about Nintendo and where they got their money from is the fact that even back in those early days before we get to the DS, they managed to bring out a disc version of the console that they franchised out to the airports. You could play SNES games and NES games on the back seat of your when you're on a long haul flight.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, you didn't have to watch the in-flight movie. You could actually play SNES and NES games. And I think when you've got a hotel franchise and you've got a flight franchise, you're getting an awful lot of revenue. That's where I think the Neo Geo came in, where they tried to market that Neo Geo at the beginning to be rented out to hotels so that you could play arcade games in your hotel suite. And Nintendo had cornered the market, I think, at that point. So,
and of course, well, the original DS came out, and then it was shortly after it was replaced with the DS Lite, which, as we've spoke of in the past, has the most incredible battery life.
Has the most incredible battery in the world, yeah.
Just metal. But yeah, the DS was, I mean, obviously Sony came along with the PSP, which it blew the DS out the water from a hardware point of view. I mean, I think a PSP was it almost like it was certainly like a PlayStation 2 portable, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think what Nintendo corner the market on is they want you to have a gaming experience and also good battery life. When Sony and everything come along and do a handheld, they're looking at it totally different. They're looking at it, how much power can I put into this handheld? I've got to better what's on the market, and they therefore up the wick a little bit when it comes to RAM and graphics and screen, but then they fall over because everybody complains and say, yeah, great if you can play it for an hour, and then the battery's dead. Nintendo give you that half balance where they say, look, this is not a console, this is something to carry around. It's going to be a nice entertaining system, but it's not going to shock the world with 3D graphics or super polygon frame rates or anything.
Yeah.
You're going to get what we consider to be top end action
I
for
think,
a handheld.
yeah,
You know?
you're right. So just a quick one, Dale. Colin's saying here he's trying to sort out his audio so he can join in. Aye, absolutely, Colin.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got a webcam, microphone, let me know and I will ping the invite across in Discord. Just put a wee comment down below when you're ready to join in. Yeah, I think, I mean, Nintendo have never been, they've never put cutting edge graphics or hardware processors and all that kind of stuff. That's never been a priority. I mean, I think, am I right in thinking that the Wii, I was going to say the Wii U, the Wii came out, the Wii, no, wait a minute, I'm trying to think. Yeah, well, yeah, when I think the N64 came out after the PlayStation and Saturn, and again, it was like backwards in as far as hardware goes. And then it was the same with the Wii. The Wii was like the PlayStation 2. Am I getting confused?
I think it's after that.
Xbox.
The reason I say that is that I always remember that if anybody was to have two consoles, they wouldn't have generally an Xbox and a PlayStation. They'd have an Xbox and a Wii, or a PlayStation and a Wii, because the Wii offered something different, and the PlayStation and the Xbox cancel each other out because
Hang on, bloody cam, mate. What you doing? Even Metroid. What you doing, buddy?
It's the light bounce off of my glasses that causes this.
And you saw that. Even the Metroid, yep, he's away camping in Northland, New Zealand. Fantastic. So can't stay long. Just wanted to say Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Metroid. All the best, mate.
I'm going to turn this light off.
No, you've gone blurred. But yeah, so I mean, what else did they do? So the what do you call it? I think they were the first. Am I right in? I'm trying to think. Am I right in thinking the N64 controller did that not kind of introduce some new technology? I mean, I think the N64 controller is a bag of shite. It's plasticky. It's cheap. That little horrible analog nub thing.
Yeah, really I think that's the thing that you're talking about, because it had what they call a Z button underneath it, and then you had the nub. And the reason for it was you were supposed to be able to control something that was possibly on the character, and the other analog controller was to move it around, and then there was another controller for moving the camera. So you had a simpler way of doing it, because you held it like this or you held it like this, because it had this stem at the middle. And but I must admit, it took a very long time for me to get used to it. It is an iconic controller, but it's not iconic because it's comfortable. It's iconic because it tried to do something different. But from my point of view, it didn't work, really.
Yeah. Obviously, the Wii introduced motion controls.
Yeah, and then they added extra sensitivity by a motion thing that you plugged into your wand, didn't they, to make it even more accurate.
I remember that was the first time I became aware of trying to get a piece of hardware, and it was impossible. I remember having an app, and no, I didn't have an app on my phone, but there was a website I used to run at work, and it would tell you when stock was in. You had that. Then the Wii U introduced the big portable. It was a console, and it had the sort of the portable console that came along with it, and you could use that as two screens. Again, that was something that they introduced. Then obviously the Switch, they're the first company to bring out a machine that can dock, and you can play it on your big TV, and you can play it as a hardware. I think it's only a matter of time before I think you'll find it probably the next PlayStation, whatever it is, 6. Will probably have that.
I call the Switch the first national hybrid, because it's the first one where you can plug it into a dock and it's as powerful as as some of the consoles out there, and then it's also portable, where you pull it out of the dock and you've got equally nice looking graphics with the joypads all attached to the side of it, so you can't do that with a PlayStation 5. Carrying that thing under your arm, it's like nowhere.
Yeah,
But
I know.
that's why the Switch again. When we're talking about it, we're talking about it in its twilight years now. I think it's now on the
The
back
Switch.
burner because because as you've said with your Steam Deck, which you love, I think we're now on the cusp now of having the PC in your pocket, where the Steam was never that. Because Nintendo have always known they're never the most powerful. They optimize it for the most fun. They've never designed it to be the killer the killer speed machine, So I think Steam Deck is kicking them up the arse a little bit, or they will be. And Nintendo have got to think now, how do we move forward from this?
Especially when you consider. I mean, I've not got any games that I'm not interested because I've got two Switches in the house. No, three actually, because Ava's got one. Yeah. You can emulate the Switch on the Steam Deck. So,
Yeah.
excuse me.
That's when you know you've got a bit of a powerhouse, is when you can do a last generation handheld on a new handheld.
Yeah. Why were we talking about Nintendo? Why was I talking about Nintendo? Because I've gone off on a tangent. I can't. I'm trying to steer it back. Why did I mention Nintendo?
I think somebody mentioned it in the chat. That was all.
I can't remember. But yeah, it's always been about innovation and a lot of people. There's one thing about Nintendo. I mean, there's lots of. I always think that PC gamers absolutely detest Nintendo. Probably hardcore PlayStation. Were you watching the bloody football or something? Or
no, I'm looking at the chat.
Oh, right.
So
right.
Rocket Bunny's just admitted that it was because he mentioned the cardboard plaything, and that's right. We were talking about the cardboard.
Oh, yeah. They're never frightened to innovate. What was I talking about there? I can't even.
You can continue to tell me what's going on in the chat, because the only way I can read it is off of another machine ears.
Yeah, Rocket Bunny's saying there Nintendo's taking a lot of criticism this year as its last gen and exclusives are showing their age. Yeah, I had heard that I think some of the more modern games are struggling to run in the hardware. So I think it's only a matter of time before they bring out an enhanced Switch.
Well, the one thing that they're not known for, and the one thing that they definitely lag behind, is their subscription service to network. It's never been great or a stable system to play online on their systems. Plus, it's too expensive for what you get. So, unlike Xbox, which is well known for being Microsoft product, and Microsoft deal with computers that are networked, and the Sony, which basically has its own type of network framework, but again, it's been around for donkey's years. I don't think Nintendo have ever developed a network side that is universally recognized as being as powerful as those two. So, I mean, I take it like this: I've never played an online Nintendo game. I haven't done that. You might have done. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, I never have.
She plays Splatoon, which is it's basically it's an online game. It's an online game. So that in the last 12 months, Del, what's kind of been your gaming in the last 12 months? I mean, we know there's been a lot of real cheapo games in the last few months that we've been playing. But what have you been playing, Kenny?
Well, I think everybody knows at the moment that my gaming has actually changed an awful lot, because I started my stream off. I started to do some gaming videos, which started off as being a suggestion. It might have come from you, or it was definitely Steve or someone like that said, it was Jambon. He turned around and said, I really like this idea of you doing games that have been written this year or last year, but have got their toe in their 8-bit days, like Defender but with new graphics, or Thrust with a totally modern twist to it. And all of a sudden, Vampire Survivors came along, and ever since Vampire Survivors has come along, I've been picking up hybrids of them and seeing how they've developed, even to the point of today, where I've brought out a video on a hybrid version of Vampire Survivors, and it seems to have worked for me, but it's also the most fun for me, and I can easily explain why. They're incredibly cheap, and I put hours and hours into them. I get the most bang for your buck playing these games, and I don't find them boring. It's weird. It should be the most boring, stupidest game, but I think you'll recognize yourself, won't you, Alan, that you've played this pressure washer thing, and it's like, why are you playing this? You're getting rid of dirt on a painted 3D model of a lawnmower, and you're getting some enjoyment out of it.
It's a weird one. I mean, my game and what have I been playing this year? There's not been any. I mean, I got myself an Xbox Series X about 10 months ago. I have to say, it's great. It's been a really good buy. As far as, I mean, I've got the Game Pass thing, which means you're effectively getting. I used one of my mates. He's a right dodgy bastard. He told me that if you go to Microsoft Argentina, you can buy like the Xbox Gold for like a third of the price.
Yeah.
And he explained how to do it, and it was working out. I think it was costing me £100, and that was for like 3 years Xbox Gold and 3 years Game Pass, whereas it would cost you 120 quid for like just for Game Pass. So I did it, but I think I made an arse. I think it's going to run out next year. But anyway, Game Pass is fantastic. You never have to buy a game. So the games that have been getting my attention, I love Flight Simulator on the Xbox Series X. Up, down, left, and right. Increase engine speed, decrease. It's a piece of piss. It's not as detailed as the. Oh, you're going blurry again, mate. Either that or I've had too many of these.
It's the light bounce off of my glasses.
What was I going to say? I've been playing. Being able to take off from like Glasgow Airport and flying over your house and seeing your house on a big TV is just fantastic. It's similar to the old Power Wash Simulator. It's really relaxing to play. You can just lie back on the couch and you think that I'll fly over the Fourth Rail Bridge, and then I'll go down to London, and you're just flying about, and you go, there's that there. It's wonderful. I mean, I've been using my Xbox Series X quite a bit. Obviously playing 8-bit games when I'm doing my live streams, but I've not really been playing any. I've not been playing a lot of machines like for fun. And then obviously in the last few months, when you mentioned about that vampire, what's it called again? Vampire Chronicles?
Survivors.
Hang on 2 ticks. Mr. Jones is wanting a link.
Good.
Right. I will apologise right now. He comes from Wales, so if you don't understand what he's saying, you're not alone. Right, let's see if I can find him.
Cardiff, I think.
Right. Right, you keep the folks entertained while I get this thing. You can tell a joke or something, right? That'll be man.
What do you mean tell it? Oh, put me on the spot.
Come on,
tell a joke.
Right, ponder. There we go. Right, paste. There we go. Right, our Welsh friend should be joining us at some point. So I mean these games. I mean, you're saying they're as cheap as chips. They're let's be honest. They're giving them away for free. I mean, £2. Oh, hang on, Mr. Jones.
Hello.
Hi. Well, there's no chance that Rocket Bunny didn't hear that. Bloody hell, you scared my dogs there, mate.
At least the mic's working.
Oh, yeah.
I see. I'm glad to see you've stocked up in the Pringle. What is that? Is that's what's it? Sour cream. Is that prawn cocktail? And is that peri peri Pringles?
Hang on. This is confusing. I was getting a lot of echo here from two streams. So, okay, try again. Can you speak again?
Yeah,
that's weird. Yeah, I can hear you now. That's good now. Yeah.
No, I was just asking, what Pringles have you got there? Is that sour cream and chive? You've got bloody hell.
Cocktail, sour cream and chive. Yeah. Texas barbecue sauce.
Oh, lovely. And peri peri. Yours.
And Jack Daniels.
Oh, nice. I've got a packet. I've got crisps and a packet of hula hoops. And I'm on my second beer, and I'm going to be going down to get another beer in a second. So, how are things, Colin? How are you?
Yeah. The weather's doing my head in, but other than that, yeah, it's all good. It's all good, really.
Apart from
the earrings are actually my headset.
Apart from almost getting wiped out on your bike again, bloody hell.
Oh, yeah, I sent that one off. I did. Waiting for a response now.
Do you actually? If you don't know, Colin he's a keen cyclist. I mean, you cycle to work, don't you?
Well, I'm a commute cyclist. Yeah.
Yeah. How far do you cycle every day?
It's about 6 miles each way. So yeah.
Isn't that the same as calling you a stuntman?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate sometimes.
And no, they're not all Audi drivers. Just want to put it out there. They're not all Audi drivers.
I gotta be fair. They got fair competition with BMW drivers.
Yes. Let's give some hurt to the BMW drivers, shall we?
I actually saw a BMW Indicate the other day.
I got a BMW about 6 months ago. It's a company car, but mine's has actually got add-ons. Mine's has got indicators. Mine came with an addition.
Yeah, they're rare. They are. I mean, I even saw a Deliveroo stop at the red light. I think about 3 months ago.
So we're talking about these games that Dale's been buying me and playing. Have you played any of these ones, Colin? Devil?
No, the only one I played is Rogue Gymnasia. But I kind of got into Donut Dodo lately, which is a fun, frantic little game.
Was that the one that Funky Spectrum was playing? I think he did a video.
I'm not sure. It's like a chef going around being chased by a toilet, and it looks pixelated.
I played that in a stream because I bought that game on your recommendation, Ponder, and I got great enjoyment out of it. But it's just it's just that the first time you load it up and you play it, you just shit at it.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
You'll
have to excuse my French, Ponder, but I remember we had a conversation about Vampire Survivors, and the first thing you said about it is that it's not really your type of game because there's an inevitable end. And my argument for you was every game has an inevitable end. So why class it down?
You're right there. You're right there.
You know, for that. So
there's no. What I mean is there is no goal.
But
with Rogue Gymnasia, you got a goal, you got a level, you complete a stage. With Vampire Survivors, you just carry on, getting more and more powerful until you get overwhelmed by more powerful forces. Yeah, but there doesn't seem to be a goal, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's a different sort of thing.
If you look at the latest patches, you'll see that the goal is to kill the last boss.
Right, so there is a goal.
And at the moment, nobody really knows what the last boss is because they keep adding content to it. But the original boss was called the Grim Reaper. But then they made that Grim Reaper once they worked out how to kill it as an unlockable character, and then they made an even better Grim Reaper, and it goes on and on and on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's not too bad. I mean, that's like a stage boss, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's not too bad. But I've seen people get up to level 100 without even seeing these, and it just carries on and on and on. And I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just not my style of game. But whereas Hogmanay, you go through, you complete a level, wham, okay, you restock, and then you're on to the next level, and that's the
I'll be honest. I found Genesia complicated. I couldn't really figure out. I mean, I knew how to play a level, but I couldn't figure out pick what path. I didn't really get that.
Oh, that's just a 50-50 thing. You're looking for what you think may be the most profitable path where you get your levels.
They made 2 modes for that. They did a survival, which is just Vampire Survivors, and then they did one where you chose a path. And if you chose the path method, then there was an end.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Because there's a boss at the end.
That's what I like. That's what I really like about it.
And that's why I bought it, because it was something different to Vampire Survivors without it not being too different to Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
I think
you still choose the right weapons to start.
Ox is saying, I think we need a little introduction to Colin's family, because the party sounds like it's kicking off in the background there, mate.
Oh, they all have fun. Yeah. They're not quiet. They're not even quiet when I do my streams. I just have to close the door.
There isn't a gremlin in your microwave at the back there, is there? I was just. There's a blender around the corner as well with a gremlin in as well.
No gremlins there. I don't think. No, what? In the corner is trays. I don't know why we have trays. You get so much to carry in the room. It's no use having a tray as well, is it?
No. But I will say this. What's your take then, Ponder? Because we were just ending on the Game Pass thing, and Steve says that Game Pass isn't really for him because he's more into the type of owning the game rather than subscribing. So, from your perspective, based on what Alan said about he loves Game Pass because he got all these games that he can play, and it's a subscription service that he can turn off. Are you more about owning a game, or are you more about subscribing and then you don't care where it is?
I subscribed to Stadia for a while. I mean, I got the controller for free, as long as I got a month subscription, and I kept the subscription going for a little while.
Sorry, Colin,
but in the end,
Colin, what was Stadia? What was that again? I've heard of it. What is that?
It was the Google streaming game service, and I mean, I did get a few games on there, but they were the free ones. But I mean, I did play Superhot, for instance, through there. Now I've got it on Steam, but yeah, and it all works well. What was the other one? One of those Dark Matter 2 or something. I can't remember the exact name of it. I had a quick go with that. It plays well enough. But it does depend on your internet connection. But you get your full games, but they're not yours. They're being played on Google server computers. Even though you get the full, they're being streamed to your computer, a bit like Amstream. Well, it's not like Amstream really, but it worked. But again, I stopped using it because I don't play modern games. I just can't get into modern games. Yeah. So I think the subscription thing is a good idea because it allows you to play the more expensive games for free, for all inclusive. And you can cut it off when you want, but then you haven't got the game anymore. Yeah. You know, it's swings and roundabouts.
I mean, do you think, obviously, the three of us in here and probably most of the guys watching this, I'm looking to the left and I'm looking at probably close on to 500 games sitting there. Now, I own these games. Are they serving any purpose other than sitting on a shelf? Probably not.
No, probably not. No.
So, you know, I would say to anybody that wanted to get into gaming for the first time, if somebody wanted to get into modern gaming and they didn't have a lot of money, I would say to them, pay your £10.99 or whatever it is, £7.99 a month, and you'll be able to
for a try.
You'll be able
to get
a
wide range of games.
You can play your FIFA 22. I was talking to Del just before you came in, and I've been playing a lot of, Flight Simulator. I'm not having to pay 40, 50 quid for it. It's just free. I mean, the games will eventually disappear. But then the great thing is, I've played enough Flight Simulator, whatever it's called, that if it was to disappear, I'll say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to buy that for 40 quid because I've been able to play that for a year. I love it. Yeah. And I know that I'm buying something that I'm going to use. And
that's actually a good thought.
You know, I mean, it's like try before you buy.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
But the thing is, if you were a lot of people, and it's a good way to be, a lot of people will buy a game and they'll play it and they'll play it and they'll play it and they'll complete it, and then they'll buy another game. That's perfect for something like Game Pass. Is perfect for these people. They can play, they can buy whatever it is. I mean, Halo, I don't even know what it is. The new Halo, that's on Game Pass. You know, if you were a dedicated gamer, you could complete it and then move on to something else. So what I'm trying to say is Steve's saying that the reason he wouldn't subscribe to Game Pass is he likes to own the game. Is there any value to owning the game nowadays other than your mate comes round, oh, do you fancy a game of Super Mario Kart? Fuck it, I'll go and get it. Boom. But the reality is I just play with myself in my house. There's nobody comes to the house to play with me.
I'd be careful how you phrase that.
I was going to say, when Colin gives his answers, I see two answers to that. Two answers.
Yeah.
And
it's down to the individual.
You know, like I said, I'll let Ponder talk because he hasn't been on very much, but I think there's two answers to that one.
Yeah. When you got your own, when you purchase a game, you've got it there. I mean, okay, at the moment you get them on the Xbox on the new ones and the PlayStations on the new ones, and they're just downloads, but they're yours. As long as they're on that server, you can download them. When you subscribe, you're at the whim of the subscription provider. They can withdraw that game at any time anyway. So if you own the game, you don't lose it. Even, I mean, okay, PlayStation 5 I think is going to be around for a few years. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, I mean, owning it, you've always got it. Then again, when you think about it, if you've got a game, say from 98 that runs on Windows, you try getting that bastard to run now.
Well, what I was going to say was there's a caveat to all of what you've just said there as well about the physical media, and that is around about 2002 and digital rights management that come in. You could buy a game, you'd read the terms and conditions, which nobody did. You just click past, you'd load it, you play it, but then after a while, the company that makes it and the distributor will turn the servers off. And then you can't play it. Even though you bought it as a piece of physical media, you still can't play the damn thing because they've turned the servers off.
Yeah.
And that means that it made perfect sense that the evolution of it all went to subscription, because that's always on. And and even now, where Vampire Survivors, which is a game at the moment that you get through Steam, you can't actually buy it as a download outside of Steam. It has to have a connection for it to play. And I think indie players are now making it so that you have to have an always on internet connection, because even Alan said to me that he said that game that's called Blast from the Past won't load without you having a connection, because it wants to load the high score table to the internet, which is the whole point of the game, is to try and beat someone's score. Just a
quick one, guys. Evening, Craig. Craig's wishing us a happy. He's just popped in on the booze. Happy New Year, mate.
Happy New Year, Craig.
Happy New Year, Craig.
Cheers. But I think it's a win-win. I mean, the Game Pass, and the great thing is, I think I pay $10.99 a month. Well, I don't, because I did that Argentinian scam thing. It's not a scam. You just use your VPN, you buy it on the Argentina website. But I can play the games on my PC as well. And if you were a dedicated gamer, you could probably complete a game in, I don't know, a week. You could be going through all these games and playing them. You could complete 10 games, which would cost you probably the best part of £400-500, and you've played them. You've paid $10.99.
Well, I'll tell you one little story. I nearly fell out with Good Old Games. Now, I was a big fan of Good Old Games because they were a pioneering distributor that basically said, we don't like DRM, and anything that you're going to get from us, you can download, we'll patch it up for you, it's yours, and you don't have to come to us to download it each time. It will always permanently be there while you're with us, while you've got an account with us. But basically, you could download it now and go away. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Then they started to do what Steam did and brought out a client where you have to download the games from, right?
Yeah.
But they did a U-turn within the first month of that coming out, saying no, you could download it through the client, but you can also go to our website, go to your account, and you can download the game separately. You do not need to use our client. And from that point of view, I went, okay, you're my friend again. Because that was the big reason I didn't like Steam so much, was because
one thing I do
you have
like
to
about
have
the
a
client. One thing I do like about the client model.
Yeah.
Because there's something now on Linux called Heroic Launcher.
Yeah.
Which uses the same Proton platform to run Windows games as Steam does. It means I can access good old games now through Heroic Launchers on my Linux computer.
So just explain to Alan what Proton is. It's an infrastructure, isn't it?
Proton,
sort of a mechanism.
It basically has all the Windows system calls.
Yeah.
Which have been reverse engineered.
Yeah.
So it's sort of an emulator, but it's not an emulator because it's based on Wine, and Wine stands for Wine is not an emulator.
Emulator, yeah. if you think about it as being, if you think of it as being a translator between two things,
yeah, it is.
Right?
It's a translator.
That might help Alan, because when you tell a joystick to turn left on your computer, and it's just moving a piece of metal to touch, it sends a signal, and your computer goes 0 means it's on, 1's on, 0's off. What you need for Linux or something like that is Windows recognizes that's 1, so I'm telling Linux now that 1 equals this, and then it will know that it's happened. So it's almost like an interpreter within an interpreter.
Yeah, it is. So. Yeah, it's a layer, if you like. It's a layer between. Yeah.
I'll take your word for that, gents.
Well, I thought I put that in a layman's term for you. I thought.
Fucking hell, you know me, mate. Listen, we've got 27 people on the stream. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We need to keep an eye on the time. It's 23:29. Ox is saying Colin looks ready for a sozzled karaoke session.
At least I don't think I'll be using this tonight anyway. You guess what it is, kids? It's actually a soldering iron.
All right.
I thought it was a very
tiny little thing.
Well, I was looking at the end because I wondered whether it was one of those network adapt. When you actually when you actually wire up an RJ45 lead. At the end. It's not one of those ends, but it's not. It's just like a normal soldering end.
Yeah, it's just a soldering iron. But it's mad it is because it's actually got a firmware called Iron OS.
Iron OS.
Which is on GitHub. It's open source.
Listen, folks, obviously Colin's taken my advice and joined us. If anyone wants to drop in, even if it's just to say Happy New Year and then you can fuck off, then you're welcome to come in. Just, even if you can join, you could even join just on camera and not speak, but that would be a wee bit strange. Or else you can join microphone only. But yeah, this is your opportunity to come in and just say hello. Thank you very much to everyone that's taking the time to come in on tonight. Just looking here, Ox is saying here, I recently got hold of Pi-Mega 3 and stuck it on my TV. Yeah, which seems an improvement. Well, that's the what do you call it? The Amiga thing for the 400. I'll need to give that a go. Talking of emulators, excuse me, two ticks savers at the door. Hang on.
Yeah, so just to you, Ponder, I believe that there's these new ARM-based boards that are faster than a Pi, but they're calling them the Pi 5 when it actually isn't a Pi 5, aren't they?
They're going to get into trouble for that.
So I just wondered what your thoughts were on that, but I think Alan's back now. So
My thoughts on that is, why try and steal somebody else's name? If they're
I thought that as well, but
give them your own name. Yeah. If they're good enough, people are going to want them.
Yeah.
You don't have to steal somebody else's name.
Talking to emulators, Ox mentioned a new emulator. I mean, when you think of C64 emulation on Windows, you automatically think of Winvice, which has been the sort of the go-to emulator for a long time. But there's a new one came out called Denise. Yeah, Denise. I was going to say Deirdre. And, I've been playing with it today, and it's bloody awesome. Have you guys...
I called it Daphne.
Daphne, no, Dragon's Lair.
David,
Yeah,
Mrs.
I can see with Denise, they are going to introduce an Amiga to it, but they're going to call it the Nephew.
Yeah, that's why I didn't call it Denise. You see, because Denise to me is a chip. It's you know what I mean. So,
well, they could call it Agnes, couldn't they?
Well, yeah.
In the Amiga, yeah.
I used to tell my manager, you've been in every one of my Commodore computers. He said, "What do you mean?" Well, your name's Gary. I said, from 1985, you were in every computer I had up until about 2001.
What was Paula? Was that a sound chip?
That's the sound.
That was a sound, chip, yeah.
Although it had its separate own co-processor to do other things, but it was basically its sole purpose was a sound chip.
So lads,
that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. Was not upgrading the Paula between the normal chipset and the AGA chipset. They should have upgraded Paula as well to 16-bit.
Yeah.
But the bus architecture should have changed anyway from the A3000 because it was just too slow for it to move data around because it was always backwardly trying to work with itself. And we've had conversations, haven't we, Alan? Is backward compatibility at some point, does it need to stop? Because you really should say we're past IBM XTs, so why are we buying a PC in 2021 that's backwardly compatible with an XT? That's old architecture.
Yeah,
you really should just say this is our new reference board and move away and come up with a new method. Otherwise we're going nowhere because we're all
instead of backward compatibility, you provide an upgrade and a migration package. So if you're using a business package, you got all your data, migrate to another one.
I thought the best idea was what IBM tried to do with something called NVRAM. They tried to say, look, if you want to be backwardly compatible, we'll go through this part of the board that's got an NV.
Back in two minutes, folks.
That's got NVRAM in it, and you could actually have that as the separate processor in itself. And then our new board is just for the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that was the best way to go, but they used NVRAM to be something to help you with BIOS if it goes wrong. It really was just there to rescue you if there was a hardware component went. Really?
Yeah. I think backward compatibility used to be quite an issue, but not so much anymore because emulators. Yeah. Because you can emulate the old hardware anyway.
Yeah.
So why do you need backwards compatibility?
Well, this is why I always thought if the Amiga would have done what I thought they would have done with the 5000, the 4000 would have. If you wanted to be backwardly compatible, you'd slot in a 4000 board into an ISA slot. Yeah. And there you are. You just have that as a separate bit because that's what was so impressive about the A1000 is you put a sidecar. This is a machine. If you want this backward, you bought a separate machine. It went into the side, and there you are. That's the separate unit, and that makes it all in one.
But they had PC boards for the Amiga, didn't they?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And it was
anyway, you blokes are getting too technical.
Yeah, I'm stopping. I'm letting Alan. And
there we are.
Talk.
The future is here.
The future is what that T-shirt. Well, we've all got to go around. We've all got to go around with T-shirts now, I think.
Colin, why have you got a save icon on your T-shirt?
I just think it's definitely the future because global warming. We're all going to be wearing T-shirts because we're going to get radioactive every time we walk outside.
Cheers, Craig.
Cheers. And definitely a cheers to, what did I see? Sam P, because he said it's already 2023 here in Australia.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Happy New Year, mate.
That's why I keep looking to the right, by the way.
This year, for different reasons, from a kind of gaming, a retro gaming perspective, there's been a lot of quite sad news. We've lost a few key people from the industry. Obviously, Ollie Frey, he passed on. I think when Ollie died, if you're an 8-bit gamer, chances are
sadly Roger's not got long left either.
No, I was saying that to Panther in the Friday Waffle. Chris Wilkins did put a photograph. Chris Wilkins put a photograph of Roger, and he doesn't look well at all. Oh, but excuse me, the one that I wouldn't say hit me hard, but the one that I was absolutely gobsmacked about was Archer McLean, because anytime you see Archer, he's like a fit-looking guy, but apparently it was cancer. And,
cancer will get anybody. It's indiscriminate, isn't it? It doesn't matter how fit you are, bang.
Yeah.
It's like what scared me the most was when they started doing the cancer adverts. They said 1 in 2 people will get this. Well, that's half the world will have.
It's not quite that many, but
I went 1 in 2. Jesus, I didn't know it was quite that bad. But
it's about 1 in 5, I think.
Well, that's what I thought. They said 1 in 2, and I went bloody hell.
Well, chances are one of us is going to go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, indiscriminate. You don't think about things like that.
No, I know. Listen,
cancer, to be honest, cancer, I'm not. If I get cancer, right, okay. The most important thing to me is up there. Alzheimer's is the one because it scares me. But
I'm just going to quickly answer Ox and say, Ox, in 10 minutes, I'm going to go to the fridge and get a drink. It's just it's not 12 o'clock yet.
Hang on, listen, we've got Retro Russ is ready to join.
Hey, I will say just before midnight I'll be vanishing to the front door because we always go on the front door. New Year's.
No, listen, just dip in and out as we went. Right, Russ.
I'll just mute the mic when I do.
Is Russ on Discord? Does anybody know? Because I can't. How can we get the Russ? Are you on Discord? Does anybody know if Russ is on Discord?
I'm not sure.
Or I'm just trying to think how we can get some.
Del, could you put the link to Discord?
Yeah, and then if Russ can join it.
Yeah, I can do it in a minute. It's just that I've got my normal Yahoo on this machine. It doesn't have Discord on it. So, just
Dale, how do I send a link to my Discord channel? I've got Discord open.
You can send a private message if you actually do that. But just bear with me a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
Copy that.
I was sorry to hear about your loss, Colin.
I was utterly gutted. Still am, but we can't dwell on things, can we? Got to get on with things. Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be missed. He's already missed. So we still got to carry on. I mean, we're still alive. We still got to keep going.
There should be a link now, guys, for Discord in the chat.
Right, excellent. Right, Russ, if you can join
showing
that.
Oh, there we are. It is.
If you can go and join my Discord channel, I'll watch for it coming in and then I'll ping you the link. Listen, guys, coming up, I'm going to play a couple of Archer McLean games. I'm going to play Drop Zone and International Karate. That'll take only 2 minutes.
I just want to make it one thing here. I did not say a word. Not say a word. I have not been on this channel for 3 months, and I believe it's because people got sick of me saying about level something or other.
Level 2.
Oh, was it 2? Was it?
If we can get it working, Dale and I are going to have an attempt at playing Kickoff 2 online, so we can recreate the England versus
Scotland. Oh, great!
Who was in it? Gubgies at
France. They were kicked out by France this year. France. That's what you want to know.
Yeah, we can recreate the World Cup, France versus Thingmy. So I'm just waiting for Russ to.
Yeah, he's just joined. I've just
seen
Russ is now joined. Right, message Retro Russ. Paste. There we go.
And he should then have a direct message which he can then click on. So
right, I think I've messaged him. Russ, have I messaged you?
So Ox has just turned around and said, "Kickoff 2 head-to-head. That's a bloody long null modem cable." I have to turn around and say that when I was talking to Alan earlier on, we were talking about whether web browser technology will allow us to play a 2-player game, and I happened to find a company that had done that backward retro engineered the Amiga Kickoff 2, and they've done a lobby system so that you can actually play online, 2-player online in a web browser. And I thought that was quite clever. I thought, but
right, Colin, have I seen that? I'm trying to figure out how can I find Rush? Let me find that.
Let's have a look.
Can somebody else send a link? Oh no, you've not got the link. Colin, I've sent the link to you.
You've sent a link in the joins channel. Hang on. Let me have a look. I'm just checking. Yeah, you did send a link in the joins channel.
Yeah, you want to do a direct message, don't you?
Yeah. You want to go to the top one where the Discord icon is.
Well, man,
no.
Right, I've deleted that. We'll get every bloody Tom, Dick, and Harry joining it.
Let's have a look.
Jeez,
in joins.
We'll have all the riff-raff like Ox and Craig Flanagan. Jesus.
In the joins, right-click on Retro Russ, and then click on message, and you can send a link that way.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'm going to go and get a drink, fellas. All right.
Yeah, right. That's Russ got his message set. You know what, Colin? That would be bloody. Craig. Sensei Soccer Online would be a wonderful. That would be fantastic. That's a thing you don't hear very often, Colin. That phrase, null modem cable. When did you last hear that?
Quite a while ago. I've actually made one.
I think the only game I can remember that used that was what the hell was it called? Stunt Car Racer.
Yeah. I think I set one up though for connecting an actual laptop to a PC back in the Windows 95 days. And or it might have been that one actually might have been a parallel cable, ParNet. I was installing Office on a laptop that didn't have a CD drive through the computer.
Like nowadays, no CD drive.
Well, by the time I finished, my computer's clock was 5 hours out.
Right, we're just waiting for Mr. Russ to join us. Yeah. So like I said, it's coming up, and we're going to play after. I think
you'll see Big Ben in about 10 minutes. I think behind me. So.
Has he joined the channel? Has he?
Yeah.
Ah, right, Big Ben. Right.
Yeah, he's about 2 foot tall. Cheers,
Mr. Ben.
Cheers, Del. Yeah.
Only about 13 episodes of that, but there we go, Mr. Ben.
Right, I'm getting a little Emicon or emoji thing from Russ, so he's got the link. So we should see him shortly. Populous, that's right. Populous used to use null modem cables as well, yeah.
So did the pool game, wasn't it? Archer McLean's didn't his pool game also have a null modem?
Possibly. You know what? I was trying to think of another game that Dale and I could play online tonight, and I was looking for my virtual pool phone. I can't bloody find it. I never uninstalled it.
Well, I was going to ask you something, Alan, because I mean, I tried to speak to you about this before, but you've just been very busy. We used to have an audio channel as well, where the virtual pool was being. It was under general chat. It used to be called general audio, and we thought it would be lovely if you could put that back. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, right. We've got Mr. Russ. Hey. How you doing, mate? He's got a plug.
Good evening, lads.
Hey. Good evening, Russ. How are you, Squire?
All right, thank you for having me.
It's looking very quiet there, not like the mayhem behind Colin. And I notice a lack of Pringles in your room. I think you should share them out, Colin.
You can share these as well.
Oh God!
Is that the full size ones?
No, it's A5. It's A5, but I got the full set.
Right. I'm
the
still
6
waiting
of them.
my A4 ones to come. So are you just in yourself, Russ, or what? It looks very quiet.
Oh yeah, I'm the missus is downstairs.
So wait a minute, let me get this right. It's 13 minutes to New Year, and you said, listen, I'm going upstairs to join in the fucking Mamemeister live stream.
Well, I would have done, but she's fast asleep.
Ah, well, all right. We'll keep our voice down. So how's your Christmas been in us?
It's been okay. Been a bit poorly over it, but on the whole, it's been all right.
Oh, we've lost you. Hang on, we can hear you. Pesky technology. You wouldn't get that in my channel, eh?
I'll see if I can get it right.
There we go.
We're back. So what's your kind of gaming history, and Russ? Are you into old games? I don't like calling them retro games because you don't call old films retro films. They're just games. What's your kind of history from the gaming perspective?
I love the arcade games. I suppose I was at the age where I could never go in one because I don't remember actually many around at the time. I was born in '75, so as much as I was aware of them, I never went in them or saw any. So I ended up growing up with the Atari VCS.
Nice.
Playing them on that, loved that. And I think we had a ZX81. Was it a Sinclair ZX81? Yeah. I remember the Atari. After that, the retro, really, it was, we went on to it. We never had a Spectrum. We went on to an Amstrad CPC. I'm struggling to remember now. But then after that, it seemed to stretch on a long time. Because then I do remember an Atari ST. And then from that, by then we'd just about entered the 90s. So I think it was Mega Drive and SNES, things like that. Up to I
had my Atari ST a very, very, very short space of time. I mean, I changed from my C64. I sold my C64 plus disc drive plus hundreds of discs and games and a full set of zaps, and I sold it for £100. And then I got my Atari ST, and I mean, I probably had that less than a year. I must admit, when I first got my Atari ST, my heart sunk when I heard the shit sound in it. I'm like, I've just taken a step backwards. You know,
I told Alan a joke once when during the live stream, because he asked me the same question about did you have an Atari ST, and I said I stopped deciding to buy an Atari ST when Atari insisted that I was going to become a tosser because the operating system was Tramill's operating system, which is called TOS. I said, there's no way am I going to be called a tosser. You can get stuffed.
I went to a computer shop once and said, "Can I have a space bar for my Atari ST?" The guy said, "Sounds like a good swap to me."
Did anybody ever see the Atari Falcon? I know they go for a pretty penny now.
I never saw one, but I mean, obviously, I know what they look like, and I've seen YouTube videos, but I haven't actually physically seen one in front of me. You know,
what was the
spec? The right thing there, but
what was the spec? Was it like on a par with the Amiga, or what?
It was better than the Amiga. It was a 68030 processor. It had a digital signal processors built into the audio. It was pretty.
I'd have said decent. It was close to an Amiga 3000. It wasn't quite a 4000. But
it didn't have the graphics capability, mind.
Yeah.
You still didn't have the blitter. Oh, no, you did have a blitter. You did have a blitter with the Falcon.
Had a blitter in there because that was one of the things they added.
Yeah. And as for the Amstrad, you say commiserations there. I think that counts for the games of the time. But if you see games that are written for it these days, you can see what it's actually capable of.
Oh, the Amstrad?
Itself, yeah.
Well, I was doing an 8-bit face-off kerfuffle today. I'll not tell you what game it was. And the C64 version was the worst. Then the Spectrum, and then the Amstrad blew the other two out of the water. You know, when done properly, the Amstrad graphics, kicking machine really is. I sold an Amstrad with colour screen with about 100 games about 5 years ago for 60 quid.
And I just want to
Probably
say
to the selfish bit more than that.
I just want to say to Russ what a very handsome headset he's got on. And the second thing that I want to say to him was I will say this about Amstrad and Alan Sugar in general. He wasn't half a trier to push the envelope, because a person who designs a PC that builds a Sega Mega Drive into his PC has really got to have you got to turn around and say that's a ballsy guy, because I wouldn't have thought of pairing those two things together, and he did. So there you go.
What was it? Was it a fax machine or something that was connected to your phone or something? What was it he brought out?
Oh, he tried to do a video phone, didn't he? But it failed big time because he couldn't get. BT were trying to do their own as well, and it was just going to be too expensive, and nobody would take it on. And not until IP came along, where you could do voice over IP. That's when, that's going technical again. In other words, if you're in an office, it's very easy to do now, but it's still hard, really, for anything else along telephone systems.
I'm just laughing at comment. All these headsets with like camera calls, center screen.
I like these because they keep my ears free.
Yeah,
did you say they keep your ears at 180 degrees? Because they have pushed your ears out of it.
Give Prince Charles a run for his money.
So, Ross, where is it you hail from? Where are you? Are you down in England somewhere?
Is that me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just outside Loughborough. Sorry, it's Midlands.
Ah, right.
Close to me. Wow, not that close, but he's in the Midlands. So I'm near Oxford. So he's still quite away, but
still a way to go.
Considered you have what they call East Midlands and West Midlands, and he's sort of like it's across one border.
Yeah.
A40 territory.
Yeah, A40 basically.
M40,
yeah.
So gaming wise, then, Ross, what are you? I mean, I suppose the fact that you watch my channel, you're into video games. You just like seeing twats making a total arse of themselves. What's your? Do you play a lot of games? Do you have any? Do you own many old systems, or are you emulation, or is it? You said kind of arcades.
It's emulation now, I suppose. I've got a lot of Raspberry Pis running RetroPie. I've got 3 full-size arcade cabinets that I've had made.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And then, ironically, I stick a retro Raspberry Pi in them the size of a credit card, don't I? But I have put CRT TVs in there, not LCDs. It was. I suppose I just wanted to recreate real arcade cabinets, but I have the Raspberry Pis in them just for reliability and CRTVs so they work. Because I know as much as I love seeing the real arcade cabinets, it seems they need a lot of maintenance to keep working.
Well,
and I can't do any of that. I wouldn't know what to do.
When I moved into my own house, when I moved into this house about 4 years ago, contacted my mate Tony Temple. Says, Tony, I want to buy a cab. Anyway, what you after? I say is that either Robotron, Galaxian. I think that was it.
His attic's full of them, isn't it? He's got an attic full of
he's got about he restores them as well. In fact, I mean he bought Archer and McLean restored Missile Command for Tony. You know,
the one he got the world record on.
Yeah, Tony's he's got the world record.
Yeah.
And he gets stopped on a daily basis with Roy Schultz, which is fantastic. But Tony, I want to get an arcade cabinet. And he says, what's your budget? And I went, well, I don't know what. I was hoping maybe £2,000. He went, you're going to struggle to get one for that. Yeah. He says, now, you need to ask yourself, he says, if you're going to buy an arcade cabinet, you need to be able to fix it.
Yeah.
He says, because that's part and parcel of it. Even in Ian, that's part and parcel of it. It says they will fail. Your CRT monitor will stop working. You need to be able to fix it. He says, secondly, what was it he said to me? You're going to have, he says, you need to have deep pockets. And then thirdly, you're going to have buyer's remorse. He says, you're going to be sitting, staring at the Galaxian machine thinking, I wish I could play Rolling Thunder on it, and
Yeah.
I can't. He says, take my advice, Al. He says, get yourself a MAME cab, and that's exactly what I did. I've got 3 as well. One of them's got the. Have you got a CRT in one of them? Did you say?
All of them.
All of them, yeah. What do you use? Is it the R? What's it called? Is it that device from Australia?
I think one is German. It's Pi2 Scott is German, and then there's another one which is called RGB Pi, which, looking at the website, appears to be Spanish, and they're both brilliant. In fact, the RGB Pi one comes with its own OS, so you just stick the ROMs in and off you go.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to stay online, but I'm going to go to the front door for 10 minutes.
Right, no worries, mate. We'll see you shortly.
I'll just mute the mic.
Not a problem.
And I shall be back.
No problem. Cheers, Cole. See you next year, mate.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, he's a noisy bastard, isn't he?
I just put that in there. I went, noisy git.
Right, Dale. I think you better get Big Ben on, mate. It's getting.
That's what I said. I put it on BBC One, so it's on now.
Who the hell's that? Fucking Britney Spears or something?
No, that's that bloke who won the Eurovision Song Contest by coming second.
Oh, Jesus. So, Ross, do you actually, I mean, apart from your arcade games, do you play many of the old systems on emulation? Or?
Yes, I've loaded lots of them on the Raspberry Pi. I've been playing them all Christmas, actually. So I have been playing NES games. Even a lot of it I've been playing for nostalgia, but then I've been getting onto systems that I never had. So I've been playing. You were talking about it earlier. I think NES was it, but it made me think. I don't know any of this, so I don't remember it at the time.
Yeah.
The only time I got interested in the NES was with that emulator that I gave to lots of people called 3D Sen, where you could turn any NES cartridge into 3D.
Right, sorry, Dale. We've got Big Ben in the background.
That's right.
We better listen. You want to turn your volume up or something? I don't know.
Well, I've got my headset on, so you still wouldn't hear it.
So how do we know? When it's well?
It's got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Hey! Happy year, guys.
Happy New Year.
All the best.
Never above you, never below you, always by your side, or something like that. Somebody told me that. Some Scottish thing. I think somebody told me once.
So Ross, have you been to any of the arcade? Have you been to Arcade Club?
Yeah. I've been to the Leeds one in 2019 when they had the UK VAC meetup.
Mm-hmm.
And then actually last November, not this November, the November last year, I went to the meetup, which was at the Bury one. That's fantastic. Right, and then actually only last month I went to, you mentioned it actually, Alan, Alex had opened that arcade archive down in Stroud in Gloucestershire. I went, he invited me down for the opening of that. That's fantastic.
Well, were you there last week? No. Oh,
no, last week. It was the opening. I think it was like the 27th of November. The soft opening he did.
Yeah, I know Tony Temple. He was down there last week.
Tony was there. I remember seeing Tony Temple there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a few big names in the arcade community had helped Alex out, actually donating lots of PCBs and arcade cabinets to help him build this museum of arcade games. Alex himself has got quite a few rare cabinets. He'd got Nintendo Sheriff. I think he said there's only 3 in the world of those cabs, and Alex had got one. He'd also got the Sky-Skipper, Nintendo Sky-Skipper cabinet, which again he'd done a video on his channel where he got Billy Mitchell actually to go into Nintendo America to scan the artwork on the only existing cabinet in the world, and then he's got the PCB and done a replica of well, it's not a replica, it's a real cabinet of it. And he'd got a rescue cabinet, Stern Rescue, which was by Chris Oberth, and that was the original cabinet that the guy who wrote the game had as a prototype in his house. He bought it off their family, so he'd got a load of really unique cabinets there to add to it anyway. So he was.
I always think, I mean, you've got to be a really die-hard collector, and I'm going to use the word collector. I think you've got to be a die-hard collector to want to own like something that's super rare, but it's probably complete shite. I mean, like for the normal somebody like me, if I said to Dale, right, Dale, go and get me there's $2,000, go and buy me an arcade cabinet, and he came back with something like Sub Hunt, I would be gutted, because whilst it's fantastic to own a super rare console
You've got to want that game
machine, really, would you really want to sit and play Sub Hunt? No, not at all. But that's where the difference is. Obviously, talking about collecting, I mean, Archer McLean, he had, I know certainly 10 years ago, he had an absolutely phenomenal collection. He had a big basement with a lot of cabs. I don't know if he still had them. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I remember Alex was talking about him on his channel yesterday, I think. How Alex had got what do they call it? A Nintendo Red Tent. Oh no, it wasn't. It was a Nintendo Sheriff cabinet, but a cocktail, I think, a cocktail cabinet, which I think there was only 1 or 2 in the world. And he said that Archer asked if it was for sale, and he said, "No, it's not for sale, mate." He said he wanted to buy it off him.
You've got, I think that kind of the whole kind of collecting scene with arcade cabinets, I think it's quite a tight, quite a friendly scene. And you know, I don't want to be sort of talking out of turn, but if Archer has got a big collection of machines, or the fact that he's no longer here, you would like to think that probably the
community would hear about it.
The community would help him out, help his wife out to kind of.
I think I've heard.
It's a party popper in my drink.
I've heard stories like that before when other people that have had big collections have passed. That then everybody's gone to help them out, help the family out, and move the cabs on and sell them for them and things like that.
That's the thing. I mean, I've got a lot of shite in my house, and a lot of it's worth a bit of money. If I was to kick the bucket, my daughter would be like, "Right, let's just get a fucking skip and horse all that out." And I'd like to think that somebody would actually take ownership and say, "Well, actually, that thing that you're going to throw out is actually worth 50 quid." I mean, I was talking to Ox, Panther on the Friday Waffle yesterday, and he was saying that for like the split chip alone, it goes for like 60, 70 quid. Whereas you would look at that and just think, bin, you chuck it in the bin, you know what I mean?
I'm going to drop off, guys. Just wanted to say hello. Nice to meet you all.
Listen,
cheers, Raz. Nice to see you,
buddy. Anything you want to come in, more than welcome, mate. Nice to see you. Happy New Year, buddy.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye now.
Listen, guys, I'm going to, just for something a wee bit different, I'm going to play a bit of Drop Zone. You guys can just talk amongst yourselves. I'll show you that Denise. I'm also going to let you see, in fact, I showed it in the waffle, that fantastic collection of CRT images. Some guy has, I don't know how he manages it, he's managed to convert, sorry, I've now moved across here, hence the reason I'm looking to the side. He's managed to convert or create CRT images for all these games. Now, I'm going to load up this Denise, let me share, where is it, present, share screen. They say, I wonder, right, Dale, you might be able to tell me. I've got in the what do you call it, StreamYard. When you click on share, you can share a Chrome tab, you can share a window, or you can share the entire screen. Now, if I'm going to be running an emulator, should that just be a window? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think that's your Windows desktop. They mean by window.
Right, I'll try it.
So you tell the system what window you want to share, and it will be the actual emulator itself. Do you know what I mean?
If I do share window, it doesn't give me the option to do the sound. So, right, I'm gonna have to go for.
If it's anything like OBS, and it says if you're not sharing a full screen, you're sharing a window. Usually, it would be the name of the game or the emulator. It would be called. So, I can see a window there.
Yeah, like that's Denise. Right, how do let's have a look. I'll just do that there. Let me open up this and get my cartridges, and let's go for a bit of Drop Zone. I think they actually looked at creating an arcade cab for Drop Zone, but it never actually happened, sadly.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
There we go. Right, hopefully you guys can.
I can hear the thruster of the jetpack. So
is the sound coming across okay? Yeah.
Well, I can hear it. It's quite low, but then again,
Yep, the sound's coming across.
It's good enough because you can hear us as well. You see.
I know that's fine. Well, I was hoping it was going to block the pair of yous out, but obviously it's not what's out.
In space, no one can hear you play. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Are you a fan of Drop Zone, Colin?
I'd say Drop Zone's a great game. Drop Zone's absolutely brilliant. It is without doubt the best home computer Defender clone ever.
Aye.
By far.
Yeah. I mean, you could quite literally just lift this code and put it straight into an arcade cabinet. It's
fit perfectly. Fit perfectly. It is arcade quality, without a doubt.
I was talking, and I was telling Dale earlier on, I've been busy the last couple of days. I've been recording videos because I'm conscious that I've not been putting out a lot of videos, and I was just thinking about Archer McLean. I mean, he didn't do many videos. Listen to me. Hang on. Fuck off. I was thinking he didn't make many games, but by Christ, the games that he made were probably the best of that particular genre. I mean, Drop Zone. Some people would argue and say Uridium is the better game. It's more technical. Oh, you bastard! And I would probably agree. I mean, Uridium does, it's scrolling, etc., etc. But I think that this game could not be better. There's never been a better shoot 'em up technically on the C64 or in any. That's off. Hang on, I always forget to use the cloak. Oh, you bastard. When you think about Archer McLean, I love Jeff Minter to bits, but he's I'm not going to say he's a one-trick pony, but most of his games are Grid Runner or not Grid Runner, well, Grid Runner or
Tempest.
Archer McLean made one shoot 'em up, and it's the best shoot 'em up on the C64 in my opinion. He made one beat 'em up, whilst I've got a soft spot for Exploding Fist. International Karate Plus, fucking hell, that's another arcade game. You could just drop that into a jammer, a cab, and so the two genres that he's actually made games for, he's made the best games. I would love to have seen him. He's done Jimmy White's Snooker. Now, I don't mind telling you that. I've not played Jimmy White's Snooker for about 30 years, and I recorded a video today. And whilst I was checking it, it's an absolute phenomenal game. Technically, it's brilliant. So the three sort of genres that he's just made the best game ever. I would love to have seen Archer have a go at like a driving game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mind you, Magnetic Fields did good driving games.
What's that?
Magnetic Fields did good driving games.
Yeah. I mean, Sean Southern. I mean, he's. I don't think there's a poor game that Sean's made. He just knew how to make the computer tick.
Yeah.
What's your high score at this thing, Colin? Have you?
Oh, not that good.
It's a hard.
I gotta have a few goes to get into it, and I can't remember what my high score is, but it's not that.
Fuck off.
I think I've got to about level 4 or 5.
Sorry, I'm struggling to hear you because of the game. Right, hang on. Right.
I think I got it to about level 4 or 5, maybe 6. So yeah, it's not that high, but it's a bloody good game. I really enjoy playing it. Some games are hard and fun. Some games are hard and frustrating. This one is hard and fun.
It's an arcade game. Right, let's have a quick shot off International Karate if I can figure out how to load it. Where's my?
It's amazing what he did though with International Karate, because Karate Champ was 2 joysticks, and he did all that in one.
Yeah. I did a. What did I do? What was it in again? Yeah, it was in my little tribute video to Archer McLean. I featured the 4 games. What did I feature? Drop Zone, International Karate Plus, and International Karate Plus and Amiga. And honestly, it's hard to tell the Amiga and the C64 apart, and that's testament to how incredible the C64 version was. It really was. It's an absolute thing of beauty.
No, I mean, now we're getting better games than we got back in the day, because people are not pushed with time scales, are they? They haven't got any deadlines. They can just take their time and release it when it's ready.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And some of the games that I've seen now are just mind blowing. Ox, I did manage to get Denise. Right, here we go. I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to watch it. You know, it's.
I know Nick was going to do talking about these games. I think Nick was going to do a Donut Dodo for the Commodore 64, but hasn't pursued it. Alisoft.
What's the game he's going to do?
Donut Dodo. You really need to play Donut Dodo.
Right. Right, got you.
It really it's frantic, it's difficult, but it's a game you want to keep coming back to all the time.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at some of the early games in the C64, and then you look at that's on an 8-bit computer that's got, I don't know you'll know better than me, Colin. What's the free memory you've got? What kind of free memory have you got for the C64?
Well, you've got 64K, but it's arranged in an awkward way. And the VIC chip, the graphics chip, can only access a quarter of that. It can only access 16K at a time. You can bank switch it. You can switch it between, but it's the whole thing. It can only access a quarter of the memory because of the way the hardware set out the addressing lines. But it's 64K. There are better techniques now you can use with the if you've got an external memory in there, you can use what's called DMA addressing, which is basically it's like a blitter for the Commodore 64. You can copy whole chunks of memory, which takes just very few cycles. Whereas if you did it by just the basic Commodore 64, it'd take a lot of cycles. It'd take a lot of time.
Direct memory address.
Direct memory access, yeah. It's almost like a blitter for the Commodore 64.
If you do something direct, then obviously it's the fastest method.
Yeah.
Is a layman's way. Is a layman's way of saying it. You know.
Here we are. Donut Dodo, by the way, is £3.99 at the moment on Steam.
All right, I paid £5 for it when you told me about it. Don't go on.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, a $5 is the default price. It's on sale at the moment with 20% off.
What's it called again? Donut.
Yeah,
it's still worth $5.
It's a good game.
Donut, it's
and I don't feel ripped off.
Right.
It's just that Ponder Tommy, get it now. Didn't say about waiting till bloody New Year to get it, did he?
I think yeah. I said no. Come on. Being in the railway, customers think we got a bloody crystal ball. Point at the vendors. I've never had it back.
What's your opinion of the of each year's price hike for the trains, Honda? I mean,
my opinion.
The world wants the money to go towards better service. But what's your opinion about the reasons that they give out on why that hasn't happened, and yet they still have to then incur an inflation rate?
Okay. The reasons are there's three things. There's three things which could reduce prices and make the railway run far more efficiently. The first thing is get rid of the franchising, the whole. We got two companies, Porterbrook and Angel, who lease the trains. Now they lease the trains to each train operating company at about a third of the cost of a new train per year. So in 3 years, they could buy a new train, right? A company. Now, with a car lease, everything's thrown in. With a train lease, the train operating company is still responsible for all the maintenance. Yeah. So that's wasted money. And the leasing companies, Porterbrook and Angel, which are basically, in my opinion, Tory buddies, boy money, jobs for the boys. They're on a gravy train, quite literally. So that's the biggest thing. The second thing is maintenance. Bring it all in-house, because when you shove it out to contractors, they just add a couple of zeros on the end and do the same job or worse. And a third thing is delay attribution, because that's one that's not okay, darling. Okay, I will. So delay attribution, basically, when you have a delay, you get fined, and whoever is the cause of the delay gets the fine, and it goes between the others. But it all balances out through the year. So the only ones who's making any money are the administrators. So if you get rid of those three things, you could drop prices by about a third, because there's so much waste in that. There we are. Donut Dodo. This is such a good game. I'll give you a hint here. You will get better if you go for the flashing donuts, even though it's not the obvious route, because you will get more lives.
Sorry, guys.
An extra life every 15,000.
Can you hear the sound? I'm going to start. Can you hear the sound in this? Hopefully,
I did just now. Yeah.
Can you hear the sound?
Can hear it now.
Right, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, sorry, Colin. I just thought.
That's all right. I'm finished anyway. But yeah, that's my biggest gripe with the financing of the railway.
Yeah, man. I'm going to.
You can just press escape.
Right.
Don't quick continue.
I've just turned the sound. I've just turned the sound off. Right. So what's the idea of the game to?
It's a bit. I always thought it was a bit like Popeye at first, but it's not.
It's not. No, you won't. You will not jump over the toilet. You've got to keep out of its way.
So what's the idea of the game to collect the donuts?
I went left when I played it, but.
The toilet will always follow where you are.
It's a bargain at £3. I wouldn't pay £5 for it, right enough.
Yeah. Go to the right.
Only a fool on his money would pay £5.
You can wrap around. So if you go to the on that third level, if you go to the left, you come out on the right, and vice versa.
Oh,
left. No, you're trapped.
Oh, you can't jump on the toilet. You can't jump over it.
No, you can't jump over the toilet.
So I've been playing too much Mamemeister. You can jump over it.
Yeah.
Right, so I can. Oh, for fuck's
they
sake,
come
right.
through. You're gonna load steam.
But it does look nice, though, eh?
It's a really fun game.
And on my stream, the first time I played it, I did get to the second screen. Just so you know.
That's actually quite an achievement on this. But if you go with a flashing donuts, you get a bigger boat. You get a bigger score.
Oh, you got to collect them in order or something.
Yeah, if you collect them in order, it's a bigger score.
Ah, bollocks! I didn't see it.
The music as well really adds to the game. It really, really fits.
See, I've not got the advantage of having the sound. That's the thing. That's a.
You're up. You're all right. No, go, no.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, shit.
If you look at the online leaderboard, you will see a familiar name. Yes, that's Charlie Farr at the top.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
In third place is listed as Smeg.
Yeah.
Where are you, Dale? I'm not seeing your name in it, mate.
No, because I only got to the.
I haven't
Oh, there
even
I
got
am.
over
Look,
150,000
CG.
yet.
I like that. That's good. Like I think it's getting near time. We want to see, can England put the World Cup woes to rest?
Yeah, well, that you can't
Why?
because I'm crap, and if I'm England,
hang on.
it's not going to happen.
It's.
No, I told her, I said, I don't even know the control. I was trying to work it out. There was all I kept doing was just kicking the ball forward. That's all that was happening.
We'll give it a go. Oh, fuck it. I didn't see the bloody gap. Piss off.
Right, quick.
bloody-
Oh, no. Watch out for him coming. There we are. Watch out for the bot. Fireball. He's coming over. Yeah, you're right.
Shit. Oh, he's getting excited.
No, that toilet's gonna just
fuck.
go left and right. Go up. No, left.
Left.
Left for the donut. Oh no, you're trapped by the toilet
Ah,
now.
I picked up.
Yeah, you had to go down to the donut. Go
But I
right.
must have gone up.
Go right. Okay. Now get the donut, and now go up and get the big donut. Watch out for the dodo.
Ah! Stupid bloody game. Hate it. Right. Right, Dale, are we going to give this kickoff thing a go, I think?
I'm in the lobby, but I don't know quite what you want me to do in regards to sharing the screen or any of that.
Right, well, I can do the technical
We got-
part. Right, wait a minute.
Before we get on, I got another animal here.
Guys, that's a bloody big cat. Jesus. What's his name?
That's Buster.
Sorry?
That's Buster, our dog.
Oh, Buster. I thought you said Asperger's. I thought that's quite an original name. Hey, is he a kind of cockapoo type thing?
He's a cross between a spaniel and a lurcher, I think it is. But he's got a lot of spaniel in him, so yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that means he's a mad dog and full of energy.
He's lovely. He's as soft as shit he is. He's really lovely.
You notice how nowadays you have cockapoos and what the hell?
The mongrels.
Yeah. Back in the 70s, they were classed as mongrels and you couldn't give them away.
Yeah.
Now people pay like £4,000 for a dog, eh?
Our next door neighbour's Springer Spaniel, I loved it. I mean, the Springer Spaniel is a lovely dog. I mean, it's a gorgeous dog. They've got these features on their face that sort of like look like full of expectation every time they look. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just amazing, really.
Whereas a pug looks like it's licking glass.
Right, we're going to share the screen.
I'm going to disappear for 2 minutes.
No, no worries, mate. You. Right.
So you should see me in the lobby.
Right, it says Del Boy arrived, Del Boy departed. Right, I need to go into the lobby. Okay, wait a minute. Okay.
Right, yeah, and I can and if you right click on it, no, if you single click on the person, you can go invite.
Do I need to do host an online game possibly? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, have I invited you in?
I think so.
I didn't actually invite you in. Mamemeister, right, click on go, shall we?
Yeah.
Now you need to bear in mind, folks. Jesus, that is. Hang on, I need to try and.
Yeah, like it's so loud.
Hang on 2 seconds, Dale. I need to try and get the. I need to try and reduce the volume.
Yeah.
It's stupidly loud. Can I? How do I narrow this down? Can I make this smaller?
I think so. I think it's settings in the top right-hand corner.
Ah, right. Got a minute. Volume. I don't think there's any for volume, is there?
I'm not sure.
No. Right. I'm going to. Oh, I can't. How can I do that? Right. I'm going to come out for 2 seconds, Dale. I'm going to close it down.
Yeah, okay.
If I can figure out how to close the damn thing down. Press 8, abort game. Right. I'm going to close that down, and I'm going to exit, and I'm going to open up my. I'm going to open up the volume control thing so I can hopefully then reduce it. Volume mixer. Right, that's fine. I'll move that over there.
Of course, I don't know if I can do the same because mine just told me it stopped and I can't do anything. It's sort of like crashed.
Right, wait a minute.
No comms from opponent for 32 seconds. It says so. It says you've left.
Right, I'm going to reload it. Try it again.
I was going to try and do the same, but I can't leave. That's what I'm saying.
You can't leave. All right.
No, I'm stuck as if it's waiting for you to do something. Because I think you controlled the game.
There we
Right,
go.
well,
My wife's in
kick
bed
off.
now, so it'll be a bit quieter.
Right. I'll just turn the volume down and kick off. Host an online game. Del boy.
So I can't turn the volume down my side because I can't get to the lobby. So
Right, it says here it's waiting for player, so I'm assuming it's waiting for you to click on.
yeah, and I can't do that because I think it's crashed. So I'm gonna have to come out. I think. There we are. So I've come out now, and I'm gonna load it up again. All right. So wait for me to come into the lobby.
Fuck's sake, you just shut my foot.
Now cancel that. Right, host online game. Del boy.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could punch them.
Was that you, Colin?
It was indeed.
It's waiting for a disconnect at the moment from my side of the server. So
I did it though. When it went 5, 4.
otherwise, this looks like it's quite good, but it's just I'm crap at football games.
Right,
There
well,
we are.
I'm
Logging into the server. There you are. I'm in.
All right, okay.
Hang on. Just gonna see if I can alter the sound.
Hey, brother! Could you put it over the government fire? That's it.
Where did you go to change the sound? Did you click on the little microphone in the top right-hand corner?
No, actually, it's waiting into the system settings in the PC.
Oh, you did it on the PC.
Right, you can turn the sound down. I've just turned it down in the thing there.
You didn't do it in the game itself.
No, I did it on.
Let's go to fucking bed, come on!
Okay, so invite me.
Right, hang on. Host online game. Del.
Yeah, I've clicked to join.
Right, okay. So you reckon it? Colin, you have to tell Gavin to calm down.
Right, got Catman in the box. Sheldon!
Right, okay.
Man,
Man,
I'm
go.
gonna mute.
I'm blue.
That's still bloody loud. Right. Right, I am yellow apparently.
Yeah.
Well, that's playing bloody well, isn't it? Right, I'm obviously Scotland. Oh, you bastard. Now, if I remember rightly, Dale, I think you hold the fire button in to actually trap the ball.
Ah, right. Because there's 2 buttons, and I'm not sure which one does which.
Is that?
Is that?
Yeah. If I press the left button, he jumps up. If I press the right button, he seems to trap the ball.
Ah, right, okay.
Ooh.
Oh,
Is this Amiga?
Yeah.
Chase it. Oh, on Scotland. I never really played Kickoff 2. I played Kickoff 1 and then... you twat! Fucking open goal. I've got to say, I'm impressed at how well it plays. You dirty bastard.
I once saw a game of football where they just kept kicking it into touch. It was a game of throw-ins.
Game of Thrones, oh, for God's sake.
And I'll tell you now, we'll be playing this again in future. This is... Oh, damn it.
See how he jumps up in the air?
Yeah. So is that Oh, get the ball. So is that button 2, is it, you think? Oh. Chase it. Bloody hell. No, just taken off. Come on, let's try and get a shot on target. Come on, where are they? No, this. I know Kickoff 2. One of my mates used to go to like the Kickoff championships. And
Rocket Bunny, I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
They used to have, I don't know if they still have it, they used to have like a Kickoff World Championship.
You got me wanting to do a search now.
Come on. Oof. Oh. First time you've been in the bloody box. Right.
Always my problem.
Time, 1 minute and 30 to go. We should have had a wee bet to see who's going to win.
That's easy, you.
Now it's going to be 0-0, I think.
I don't think so.
Yes! Get up there. Get it right up you. Scotland 1, England 0. There's no sun here very often. Oh. I can see people in the comments are riveted with the game.
Yeah, we just got rid of the World Cup. You bastards come along and play more football.
Come on, referee, seriously. Right, I don't know how to... I can't remember how to actually kick the ball. Oof, good save.
Thank you.
Well, we'll forget the fact it's an automatic goalie, but anyway, we'll give you the compliment.
It's
anyway.
not an automatic goalie.
Is it not? I wouldn't know, because you've not had a shot on target yet. Oh.
Corner, innit?
Yeah. Chris, do you want to take a longer
No
run?
corner shop jokes.
Shit. Right, I don't know how this is going to work out.
They're no longer politically correct.
Oh, right across the face of the goalmouth. It's a pity they couldn't do this kind of technology with other games, though, eh?
Well, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, the multiplayer ability here, I'm really impressed with.
That's
I'll be
awesome.
honest.
Right, come on, boys. Just hold your nerve. Of course, you've got bend in it as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
I've not actually looked at the second button, so you've got 2 fire buttons, you reckon?
I think so, but I might be wrong. But it's just that I can see that the left one, he sort of jumps up, and if I do right, a little bar appears, and he's got a sort of like a power shot.
Oh, wait a minute. Even an Addy Sneaker Freak, he's saying that Sensible Soccer, I'm not even looking, Sensible Soccer 2020 online is a thing to behold. Oh, we'll need to try that. Oh, you bloody idiot. Oof.
Oh.
I think somebody once described this as like pinball.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I think once you get used to the controls, I mean, I used to play Kickoff, the original Kickoff, quite a bit. Oh, what the hell are you doing? Until Sensi came along, and then I never went back to it. I always felt like Kickoff 2 was a bit more uncontrollable, but again, it's once you...
I think it's Kickoff 2 that they still got the World Championships for.
Yeah. Let's be safe.
Oh.
Come on,
I haven't learned to trap the ball yet.
What's that?
I haven't learned to trap the ball yet.
You just hold the fire button down. Oh, for fuck's sake, that was almost an own goal. You bloody twat. Dale obviously felt sorry for me, so he just hit it out. Yeah, you just hold the fire button down, Dale, and then you can... Once you get the ball, you can then see, like, if you don't tackle me, I can then rotate the joystick to whatever direction I want, like that, and then you let go, and then it'll pass.
Oh.
Because I think the secret is quick passing, not that I'm any good at it.
Oh.
Have it.
Oh. God. Yeah. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Pele.
Yeah. You know what? People, I mean, he died, the day after Archer McLean. And then obviously Pele was a global superstar. I'm not going to feel sorry. I'm not going to feel sad because the guy was about 80
He was in his
years old.
80s.
You know, death, unfortunately, is it's as natural as somebody being born. So you're not going to feel sad.
Exactly what I was saying about the cat. Okay,
exactly,
just a cat,
exactly.
Family.
Yeah, you're going to miss somebody. Oh, for Christ's sake.
Death is a part of the life. It's a sad part of the life, but it's unavoidable.
So, you know, in my mind, Archer McLean passing away is far sadder than
he
Pele
was
dying.
far too early.
Exactly.
And Pele was a long illness as well. No, it wasn't 1-0. No, 2-0. I've got a link for the Sensible World of Soccer 2020.
Oh, have you?
I can't post it in the chat, but it's sensiblesoccer.de/SWOS-2020.
Okay, we'll have a wee look at that in a minute. Come on.
I'm gonna have to have a look for this. There's an ADF as well for the Amiga, so I'm gonna have to have a look at this. I won't have time until Wednesday, but I'll have to have a look at this.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, if that plays half as good as this plays, I'll be playing that a lot. Being able to play online Sensei Soccer.
Wow.
Shit.
It's an HDF hard drive file.
Yeah.
for the Amiga.
Can you imagine if they brought out? I mean, I know you can get things like online MAME, but well, it was good game dealt. Stuff 2-0, mate.
Very
Will we
much
give?
so.
Will we give that sense?
Up the Celts. Sorry, Del. Up the Celts.
Right, what were you saying that thing was again?
Right, sensiblesoccer.de.
Hang on, we'll just get back to. Oh, hang on. There we go. Right, let's give that a wee go.
I don't know if you noticed, but just towards the end, I was actually starting to pass the ball between a couple of players. I really started to feel like, oh, right. And then he scored.
Once you get used to things, that's it. But if if you're fresh into it, you have to learn it, ain't you?
Right, Cole, what was the name? What was that URL, mate?
Right, sensiblesoccer.de.
sensiblesoccer.de
/
Hang on, wait a minute. .de /
SWOS.
SWOS, yep.
-. 2020.
Right, okay. Download for Windows.
Do both sides have to download the client?
I don't know. It's the first I've seen of it, so I'm gonna have to look into this.
I'm pretty sure you'd have to, because how would I know how to connect?
Oh
to
yeah,
me and anything,
this is. Yeah. I'm gonna look for the Amiga one.
Hang on, I'm going to Betfred. You could fuck off, right?
I've downloaded both. I'll give them both a try soon.
Right, wait a minute. Where the hell's? Oh,
I just thought it was fortuitous to actually find that I was talking to Alan earlier today, and I said I think the only way to do this is via a browser, because you've got to be able to have the translator in the middle where we both log into something. So we need a lobby system, and it just turned up kickoff, and I went, well, that's close enough. And then I just sent a link, and I tell you what, the guy's on the ball, because you go into the Discord and you say, can I just have a key for this? And he goes, yeah. About 3 minutes later, and you're playing.
It took me a wee bit longer, but yeah, I got it within about 20 minutes. Right, why is that not? Where's the download thing? Is that it? Download started.
There we go.
Installing virus. Right. Download is starting. There we go. This type of let's keep it. Right, 67. We'll see if I can get it working, Dale, and you can give it a go.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, being as you've got the executable, you could probably
I could just
share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think it requires a key.
Oh, wait a minute. Auto search for original copy of SWOS.
Oh, you have to have the actual ROM to make it.
Right, bollocks to that.
Yeah, you do have to have the original. Well, you can download it from the previous.
Yeah, no, that's something we need to. That's something we need to.
It's something to look into, but it's not something you can just off the cuff do.
Yeah.
Look into. I know. So listen, we've still got 17 people here, which is wonderful. If anybody wants to join in, good evening, Vimstar. How are you, mate? If you want to join into the stream, even just for a couple of minutes, just to say hello, let me know. If there's any questions, anything you want to hear us waffle about, then be my guest. So what's kind of been your main kind of gaming this year then, Cole?
Gaming? Well, to be perfectly honest, Play Expo. Even though we wasn't much gaming, it was meeting you lot. This is Play Expo.
I remember right, you were at the bar most of the time, but anyway.
Awesome. But yeah, the best game of the year, I've actually responded to that it was Donut Dodo, because it's a modern retro game, and it's really romantic and fun. So yeah, but I haven't got anything really new. The Misters just keeps getting better and better with all the new releases, and it is the best thing I've ever bought in regards to the retro scene. So yeah, it's expensive now, but it's still worth the money if you can get hold of it.
So you're talking about the Mister?
The Mister, yeah. But if you do get a Mister and you want to do anything with it with regards to anything online, streaming or recording, get a cheap capture card, a mirror box capture card for about 35 quid. They are well worth it. They're really easy. You just plug them in and bang, they're just an input into OBS. And
a capture card has to be on your PC, doesn't it?
Yes. The capture card goes on your PC. It's a USB 3. Just plugs in, and it basically auto configures. There's nothing to it. It's just another input device on OBS.
You saw me playing the Switch version of Ghosts and Goblins for it, and I did. And I said to you, I was having a few problems getting it to not judder, and you said I haven't seen one judder with you playing it, and I went, oh well, there you are. Then it's fixed. It's just one of those. I asked you a specific question. I said, look, the Black Friday sales just sort of
ended. Steve, happy New Year, mate.
And I just happened to mention to you, look, if you had your time over again, would you buy
Happy New Year, Steve?
Would you buy something more upmarket? And you said no, I'd still buy this one. So I went, okay, then I'll buy it then. So
I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't, because it does everything I wanted.
So I've
seen others going online.
Sorry, I was going to say I pinned it to my wall and it's there now. So
yeah, it's so simple. It just does the job, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you really do use OBS. OBS is good for things like that. I mean, you can.
The nice thing was the nice thing about it is that I had a nice couple of comments that turned around and said that picture is really sharp on that Switch version of Ghosts and Goblins, and I said, but it's because it's a gorgeous game anyway. Just rock hard.
Yeah. Not my favorite style of game, but yeah, I can't deny. I mean, there are good games out there I don't like. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, I bought my PSP, which was cracked the first day I got it. You know, it was the old battery crack, if you remember rightly. I forgot what it's called.
What was the name of the battery? Pandora battery.
Pandora, that was it. So, and then and the only game I bought with it was the Ghosts and Goblins for the PSP, which everybody was saying was the most gorgeous looking game for that system at the time. So I actually bought the system for that game.
I don't have a Switch, but I do have 3 handhelds. Yeah. Alan knows that one. I got this one, which is okay, but rather.
Is that one of them Pow? Is that one of them Pow Kiddie things?
It's an X6.
Yeah.
If you look online, it's an X6. It's a PSP clone, but it's not really. It will do some games, like for instance, Pro Gear. It's got Pro Gear on there. But I don't know if Alan remembers, but that first handheld you handed up, that was one of the, when I was in a stream with Alan one day, I said, oh, this has just arrived. And I think it was a Pow Kiddie. And he went, wow, that's playing Ridge Racer really well. It was in the image. I said, it was about 30 or 35 quid from China. Somebody happened to mention that it looks just like that. This was about 8 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was where I decided.
And then I got this.
I wanted to buy the cheapest. I went on the eBay and I just Googled the cheapest handheld possible. And I think mine was about 6 quid delivered for China.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether that'll come through on the camera.
The Wonder Swan colours lovely. It's a lovely machine.
I've changed the screen.
Oh, you've done it backlit, have you? You've backlit it.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? Would you guys play an original Game Boy, or would you play like an original what the hell was it called? The Neo Geo Pocket? Because these systems were not backlit. And they were virtually. I mean, I remember.
I play them
even without the backlight.
Yeah. I play them. I wouldn't like to. I would if I owned it. I'd go for the mod. But I play them. Yeah, no problem. I have actually played the Game Boy back in the day, I mean,
Yeah,
chocolate to
the
two, for
Game
instance.
Boy you can get away with because it's only really kind of two colours. Well, it's more than that, but you know what I mean. But
There's
the
four
one,
shades of grey in it.
yeah, the one system that I sold because, quite frankly, I thought it was unusable was the Game Boy Advance. I bought one of these
Right.
purple Game Boy Advances, and you simply couldn't
This,
see the damn thing.
as I've shown you before, was the first
The Game Park.
non-backlit. Was the first non-backlit handheld, one of the first backlit handhelds
I
I
had one
ever
of
had,
them.
other than a Game Boy, and it used those old proprietary memory cards.
I remember seeing one of them in, oh, Christ almighty, it must be 2003. And I remember this guy coming in, and I
That's
thought,
the
"Oh,
original. That's the original DS.
yeah, yeah. This
The
guy,
the silver one.
yeah,
My
I've got
sons
one
have
of
had
them.
Game Boy Advances and they absolutely loved them. So, yeah.
Yeah, picture the scene, 2003. I was at one of the Retrovision events, and this guy came in with, well, what turned out to be a Game Park 32. And I'm like, what is that, a Game Boy? He went, no, have a look at that. And he fucking put on a portable Commodore 64. And I'm like,
Yeah.
consider my head blown. A Commodore.
And it's amazing with my Commodore history that the first game I put on that was Manic Miner. Believe it or not.
It's actually a really. I'm going to make Dell jealous. Hang on.
Yeah, he's going to bring down the system that I sold.
Yeah,
So,
there
but
we go.
you see, what you have to understand about the game park was that's what told me about the Pandora.
Yeah.
You see, that's how I
Right.
knew about it, is because I got part of their scene and I got part of their mail order, and that's how I knew about that machine being in development. And that's when I put my name down. That was sort of like the Mister of the day, because if you think about it, that you only knew about that really by being part of a cycle of people that would tell you about a device like this. And the Mister was sort of the same in regards to how that was introduced. And back in the day, because I bought that, I would have bought the Mister. It's just that it was a different time of my life. I'd just become a manager. My father had died. I didn't have the time to put into it. And I gave all of my answers towards not having a Mister as being nothing to do with the system itself. It's to do with the fact I could never put the time into it that I'd need to do it. But the trouble is, then lockdown came along, and that was the perfect time, because for you guys, where you were working at home, I was actually working in an office, so it would have been useless to
I
me.
wasn't working at home.
Oh, well, yeah. I was going to say.
How can I work at home?
Yeah, I do apologize, because I don't mean literally, but what I was trying to get at was that I was actually doing more hours then than I was during the Millennium Bug. I was doing 16, 17 hours a day, burning myself out, because I had to get laptops out to the probation staff that were working at home. If their laptops broke, they were stuffed doing nothing. There was nothing for them to do. And you can't build a government laptop other than in a government building. So, of course, I was trapped to a building. And that's how the whole dismemberment of the probation service for me and my close association with Alan started, because I had so much hardware that we were chucking out. I sort of went to Alan, do you want some of it? That's how we sort of like it. And he didn't take everything. I'm just saying that I always thought about something that he might, we might want to do an episode of something like there might be a trackball mouse or something. I say, well, try Missile Command with this. Maybe you'll get an episode out of it. And all it was going to go in the bin. And because I was controlling DPD to send out the laptops to the probation staff, all I was doing really was putting in a jiffy bag, a device, and saying, send that to Scotland for me.
Yeah. See, before, like, obviously, like the Switch and that came along, what would you say was like the best handheld? I mean, you had the Game Boy came out, and then a few months later the Lynx came out, and then obviously the what do you call it? The Game Gear came out. Yeah.
I would say personally, even though I never had one, the Lynx. If you ignore the battery life, that is one hell of a console.
Yeah, and that there lies the problem, the battery life. It practically doubled
Just
in
plug
weight.
plug it into something, and you've got
Yeah.
one really powerful console there.
You know,
But
and
the battery life did really let it down.
I mean,
Yeah.
the worst one that I ever saw was my friend, because he bought a Nokia N-Gage.
I know somebody with a Nokia N-Gage, and he
And to
liked
be
it.
quite honest, he thought it was the bee's knees when he first got it.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
and he was going, look at this, and I was going, yeah, it certainly looks impressive, although it seems a bit buttony to me. You know, I like things to be not quite so cluttered. I like sort of clean edges and all of that sort of stuff, right?
I remember,
But,
I don't know if you know Stuart Campbell, the Reverend Stuart Campbell. He went to school with one of my mates. He used to live in Bathgate, which is about 4 miles from my house. But he was like he wrote. He was one of the reviewers for what do you call it, Amiga Power. He's probably the most the guy I respect the most when it comes to games. Any review he did, if he said a game was good, you could guarantee it was fucking good. And he did an interesting article on the N-Gage. And apparently you had to actually fucking take the thing to bits to change the game. The game actually went inside. You had to like dismantle it to put the game in.
I'm sort of glad that I didn't go down too much of the handheld route. I had a Game Boy, and that was enough for me until I got a PSP. And you know, other than the game park that I bought, because I can just imagine me getting tied in with things like barcode battlers and all sorts of shit, right? And I'd be spending money on just huge of crap that the world now sees as that was a bad time. Because if you did get addicted to this sort of like world that we're in at the moment of electronics, you'd just be buying at the moment lots of good ideas that didn't pan out. And literally every couple of months there was something shit like a barcode battler coming out.
I'm just not into handhelds. There's nothing wrong with handhelds, but I just don't play games when I'm out and about. That's just it. I mean, like they're great for people who do, but I just don't play games when I'm out and about. I mean, I did ask for a Switch for Christmas, and then changed my mind because I just know I'm not going to use it because I don't play games when I'm out.
Yeah,
I think I'm kind of the same. I think for me, I still get excited with the technology. I still get excited when I fire up my Steam Deck. I have got probably about 50,000 games in it, and then I can also play, you know, Doom or whatever. So I like the fact. I mean, I'm going to show you something. I think I've showed you it before. Absolutely fucking pointless. I backed it on Kickstarter. Now let's for perspective. There's a packet of hula hoops.
Yeah.
And then there's the console.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it was about 20.
It's literally just got a USB-C connector or something on the side of it. That's it. Yeah.
I mean, it's got fucking Neo in it.
The trouble with handhelds is you can't use things like this with it.
I don't even know how to turn the damn thing on. That's so.
Well, it doesn't. The Steam Deck wouldn't the Steam Deck allow you to connect that?
There you go. What's that?
Yeah, but what's the point if you got a handheld? Why would you want to carry your controller?
No, because the Steam Deck can go into a dock and then it goes into a 55-inch screen.
I mean, this is my 4-way. This is my 4-way stick, but it's got nothing connected to it. I've actually built it so I can plug a USB into it.
Oh, very good.
Separate device.
Yeah.
I plug a USB
but
into it.
All I was getting at is that just like the Switch, the beauty of the Steam Deck is you put it into a dock, connect it to a 4K TV, and you could then have that big controller, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But the big controller makes no sense whatsoever if you're going to carry it around with it on a train, and you're going to take that bloody big thing out, and all you've got is a 7-inch screen. You know, you go, what the joystick's bigger than the screen. What the hell? What's the point in that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the beauty of the Steam Deck.
My gaming, for instance, is purely at home when I can just sit down and relax and just take my time.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just me, of course. It's not everybody. I mean, I love the handheld scene, but it's just not me. It's just not me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and get another drink in a minute, fellas, and then that'll be me for the night. So just won't be a moment. You talk about
I'm
yourself.
probably going to. Yeah, I'm going to get one more as well.
And of course, I got my knob.
Colin gets his knob out.
Just before I go, if I hear any more knob jobs, jokes and shit, I'm going to come back with a vengeance. All right.
Folks, I'm going to go and grab another beer. Colin has said that he is going to sing when we're away because he's a Welshman and you can obviously sing, mate. So over to you, Colin. We're back in 2 minutes, mate.
Sing.
Or tell jokes or something. Entertain anyway, mate.
I can't believe I lost my job at the calendar factory. All I did was take a day off. No, the N-Gauge retro in him. It looks nice when you first see it, and it didn't stand the test. It didn't stand the test of time, did it? And no, I'm not sober anymore. This is getting to me now, and I'm not unhappy about it because I haven't had a drink for a few days. Singing, I can sort of sing. I generally curdle milk, but I'm not going to do it tonight.
Okay.
Not unless somebody puts like a virgin on, like you sing like a surgeon by Weird Al.
By the way, I've never shown anybody this, but I don't know if this will come up. But there was my A1000 in my bedroom back in the day.
Nice.
Just to prove I had an A1000. There we go. And the printer.
We knew that. Nobody doubted you there, Del. Nobody doubted you there. There was no song out.
Yeah. But I tell you what, this is really nice. Hang on. This is really nice. Now this is my mate. This is my mate who died this year.
I'm just going to let my dog out for a piss. Back in 2 ticks.
This is a BMW Z1 concept car before it became a production car.
Nice.
And my mate Martin, he's standing behind it. That was Jeremy there. He drove that from Germany for a British customer, the first one off the production line, a BMW Z1. And that was May 1989. There you are.
Don't do a month. I can't fault it. No, I know far too many Weird Al lyrics. So I could sing it. I've also written my own parodies.
And this is
you can find on SoundCloud.
This is the computer shop in my hometown. That's how the tapes were up behind. Do you remember all those tapes that they used to go? Oh yeah, yes. It's a Spectrum.
I worked in a computer shop. I designed the numbering system for each of the tapes, each of the systems.
And in fact,
I can still remember 3.2 was Spectrum, 3.7 was Commodore.
And in fact,
64.
there's the shop, and you can see how they stack the games up.
I even wrote the stock system for it in
and
BASIC on the Commodore 64.
You can see that old dot matrix printing look going on at the top.
Have you ever had an MPS 801 printer on a Commodore 64? The MPS 801 was great. They used to print out.
I think I answered it in a
slam
question.
Back.
Didn't I answer it in a question by saying?
I think you did. Yes. one of the blog questions.
I was just Alan. I was just showing Colin. Look, that was the computer shop in our town. That's what it looked like in the 80s.
Wow, bloody hell! Is that a young Dale? Is it on the left? Is it?
No. But he did see my A1000 in my bedroom. We're just showing a picture of that.
Just give me 2 ticks.
Yeah, when I worked in a computer shop, I think the only reason I lost that job was because I became 20. I was approaching 21, and I would have reached minimum wage, and they couldn't afford it. But I did write the program to do all the bloody stock taking, and we used to do it.
And this is my primary school and the cars that the teachers drove.
They were bloody overpaid. Bloody hell! Are you sure they didn't work for Imagine Software?
Imagine that.
I don't know if there's a picture. Oh, there's a picture of me in here. I'm showing that. Oh, Jesus. There I am. Look, I'll tell you what. Am I on the left or am I on the right? This is 1989.
Wow.
Now, am I on the left or am I on the right?
I'm going to say the right.
I'm the one in the grey jumper.
Yeah, on the right.
That was me in 1989.
I was looking at the hair colour.
So anyway, folks, guys, what do you think? I'm talking about this a few times. Where do you think we're going with games? I mean, what's the next generation of console?
I don't care. I don't care. I'm still stuck in the past with games. The
Yeah,
next generation is whatever comes of it. I'm not interested in this generation of games, really. It's the next generation. I think it's going to be more of the same, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's going to be online. And I mean, okay, here's a contract. I'm going to come up with a bit of a controversial opinion here. Online microtransactions. We all love microtransactions.
Well, I'll tell you, shorten the question to this. What's the next platform for games?
Where do you go? I mean, everything's at the pinnacle now.
No, I already know. I think Sony will make their PlayStation 6 possibly in the TV.
And what?
In the TV
In
itself,
the TV.
like Sky
Right.
Glass. Because if you want to go down the streaming route, it makes perfect sense that any smart TV can actually download the processing chip inside the 4K TV will be so fast it will almost be like it's a Sony PlayStation 5, and therefore all you need is the app and you've got basically the games playing on your TV.
Well, you look at is it Antstream? Have any of you guys tried Antstream at all?
I haven't tried it.
I've been on Antstream since almost the start. Tristabytes, I use a discount code. I've been paying £5 a month. I don't play it often, but I don't begrudge that money. However, they're changing all their terms, and I can't change my payment method, and I can't upgrade the subscription. So I don't know what the hell's happening at the moment. It's one of these customer service problems I'm having at the moment. But yeah, Antstream I think is good for people who can't understand emulators. Antstream's strength for people who do understand emulators is its challenges.
Yeah,
where you got interpersonal challenges, and you can compete with other people. That's its strength for people like us, if you like.
I've
got a problem with the payments, and
to quantify what I was talking about in regards to the TV. I told Alan that I thought Sky was on a loser with Sky Glass, which is basically a TV that's locked to the hardware that they've designed it at, with the box inside the TV and no way of recording, is basically a streaming service, right? And what Alan used to say in his streams, he said, I want a TV where I just switch it on and it's like VR, and it's got all of the games I want to play and things come out of the screen like in 3D and everything. So all I was saying was, what you're saying then really is that the console is in the TV. Mm-hmm. So I just said, look, if we're moving away from physical media, and we're already moving towards 8K TVs, which I think is stupid, by the way, at the moment. I haven't
even gone 4K. There's no need.
Yeah, I know. I think it's stupid because we can't even get the speed of the internet fast enough to stream uncompressed to 4K.
But it's not just that. Right? I mean, how can you tell a difference?
Well, your eyesight, yeah. There's
50 plus inches.
Yeah,
there's no point.
So all I was saying is the development, therefore, must be that if because the biggest amount, the biggest amount of development seems to be a TV, because they bring out a model every 6 months. It surely can't be long before the console and the TV integrate. That's all I was saying. And of course, it makes it simpler for you to go VR because all you've got to do is work with Nintendo, and they brought out the 3DS where you could watch it without any glasses, and it sort of worked. And basically, you've got a 3DS in your panel, haven't you?
Yeah. Do you guys think that current consoles has been like the death knell of the arcade? I mean, do you think we'll never?
Oh yeah.
No.
We'll never.
You don't. I do. I think
No.
they were part of the downfall. I remember we had this conversation before, Ponder, and I said, look, it wasn't
not
it
current
wasn't
with the Sega Mega Drive bringing arcade quality to the home. That was the death of arcades there. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think current consoles are. Yes. Yeah. Current consoles are basically the pinnacle of gaming.
Yeah. But it's what Steven Spielberg's vision is, isn't it?
They tie you down.
Well, it's Steven Spielberg's vision. He said, "I want a film that you can interact with."
Yeah.
And that's what he stated.
Most games these days are that.
He stated that when he actually was being interviewed for Jurassic Park. Believe it or not, he said, because he mentioned that Jaws is a sort of like the movie that he always wanted to make because he'd made Columbo before that and a few other little things, and Jewel. He'd done a film called Jewel. But as he got further along, when he got to things like Schindler's List, he said, I want to make this interactive. It wasn't until he did, was it Ready, Steady?
Just give me 2 seconds, guys. I just need to take a quick phone call.
Yeah, of course. So I was just going to say, Ponder, that I think Steven Spielberg said he just wanted to do an interactive.
Do you know Steven Spielberg regrets making Jaws?
I do, because he called it Bruce, didn't he? About after The Accountant, it was the worst
because of the effect on people hunting sharks, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a big book.
I'm not sure it was. No, I don't think it's Spielberg. Peter Benchley regretted Jaws, the film, because it basically turned people against sharks, and sharks are not like in the book and in the film. They're not like in Jaws.
Yeah,
they don't go attacking people like that.
Yeah, because the only thing Steven Spielberg said about it was it wasn't the best experience in the world. The money was terrible for him because he had to pay more money because it overshot because of the scenes of filming in the water were just so ridden with problems, and that's why they called the shark Bruce, because it was named after The Accountant, because The Accountant had to try and come up with money from other places, and I think Steven Spielberg had to sell his house or remortgage his house to finish the film off because it needed another 2 weeks of money.
For all that, Jaws was a bloody good film.
Yeah, that's right.
Jaws 2 was not a good film.
No.
And Jaws 3 was Jaws 3
in 3D.
3D. Yeah. In 3D.
Yeah. Anyway, Alan's back and his friend.
You're talking about me, you bastards. Right. Retro and Lim saying, I hate to say it, but new gen emulators are the death of arcades. I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Steve. New gen emulators. I thought that things like the Mega Drive and Xbox 360, because I mean nowadays the only games you get in arcades are it relies on physical mechanic, huge big screens. I mean, I don't know, you guys have played there's a Space Invaders game. You sit, you have 2 players and you sit. It's quite good fun.
Seen it on
a ticket machine. It's still fun to play.
Scott, nice to see you, buddy. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what Steve means here. New gen emulators. Matt, if you want to expand on that. Well, yeah, what he's saying there is home devices are faster than arcade devices. Yeah, I mean, nowadays, a PlayStation 4...
Buddy, Jaws was tongue-in-cheek, if you like, but it still did have the effect of basically really ripping into the shark population. And as good a film it was, and there was no way to foresee this. It did affect the shark population. There's no way to foresee it. It wasn't done in any malicious intent or whatever. It was done as basically entertainment, but it had an undesired effect. And It was going to be done. It was going to be done, but yeah, you can't predict what's going to happen from it.
Stop you there, guys. I'll go away for 2 minutes. We're talking about next gen consoles, and you're fucking talking about the shark population.
Yeah, we're going back. We're going back to Jaws. We just stepped back a little bit to Jaws there.
I'm just in the corner here with a beer.
Because you had Shark Attack up, because you saw an arcade game in Jaws.
Dale, we'll let him just rabbit away. Now I have to say, I mean, Jaws is one of my favourite films of all time. It's a fantastic film. And,
the soundtrack is also ace.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's the reason I will not swim in open water even now.
I don't have a problem with it whatsoever.
Right, just going to share a quick. Let's have a look. Where are we? Invite? No, I don't want to invite. Well, Panther, if you want to come in, you can come in.
Panther, yeah, you can come in.
Right, wait a minute. Share screen. Share entire screen. There we go. There's Panther's living room.
Mine's up in the corner over there.
Dearie me, I forgot all about that actually. Oh, he's gone for it. There we go. The complete bollocks calendar.
November's still the best.
I love the fact that even the picture is
November's still the best.
About the only way we're going to see that game, I can tell you that now.
Excellent. Come on, Chris. Come on in.
Get your arse in, mate. Get your arse in. I'll probably have to call it a night in about half an hour because my daughter's next door and she's trying to get to sleep.
I've still got a blog to do later on.
Have you not had
that? You can sleep before then.
Have you not got that bloody blog done yet, mate? Christ almighty.
I do it. I record it on the morning.
I'm going to do a Sid Radio today.
I record it on the morning and send it out. That's how up to date the news is.
They want to watch the Secrets of Dumbledore today on Now TV. Because
I never got to say that though, but it's strange. I had to phone Alan back, but he phoned me Christmas morning, and I was doing a correction to my blog, and I had to answer him back and say, "Sorry, mate, I couldn't answer, but I was recording my blog. You do know that it's blog day, even though it's Christmas day as well, don't you?"
I thought you were going to do yours on Boxing Day. Speak
to you soon, and I didn't get a reply back until a couple of days later, but it was just, I took it that he got the message. It was just, I have all my mobiles on.
You did say the week before you were going to do it Boxing Day.
Yeah, well, I didn't work out what days we got on it.
Do you know videos that you don't seem to get? They're extremely popular. Probably 3-4 years ago, you don't seem to get them now. Is unboxing videos or pickup videos. Pickup. I must admit, it used to drive me insane when somebody would say, "Oh, I'm going to do a pickup video. I got FIFA 2005." I go, fucking, it's like, fucking really? But, yeah.
I do that at the end of my blogs, though, don't I?
Oh, yeah,
It's not dedicated the whole video, though, is it?
No.
Yeah.
People
I mean, reaction videos, unboxing videos, pickup videos. I mean, people have got thinking, why am I watching this? So that's why they've reduced.
I told you, I gave you the review of the only reaction show that I ever saw, which was that music one, didn't I? And I told you about all of the things that I had a problem with it. I was listening to this guy, and I'm supposed to believe that the bloke had never heard of Elvis, and that he was reacting to an Elvis song that he said I'd never heard of. And I'm going, you're telling me that you're 32 years old and you've not had Elvis in an advert sometime playing in the background? Do you know what I mean? It's. I'm sorry, but you're a liar, or no. You're.
I mean, Elvis is like Alan in Dodo. He died on the toilet.
Yeah. So that's the trouble with reaction videos, is that you're supposed to believe that there's no way in their right minds that they've ever seen a Laurel and Hardy film or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just saying that Elvis has been in adverts. You know, his face is on the billboards of everything. His films have been everywhere. They're repeated. He's sold millions and millions of records, and I'm supposed to believe just because this guy likes rap records and he's 32, I'm supposed to believe he's never heard of Elvis in his life.
Yeah.
And he's never heard of the song, you know, Burning Love. And I'm going, I'm sorry, but there's no way that I can believe this.
Utter bollocks.
Bollocks, yeah.
Absolute bollocks.
Bollocks.
What are you fucking lot want, eh? Alan, Dale, Ponda, evening or morning. Happy New Year.
Yeah, it is morning. Happy New Year, 2023.
Is it?
Wow, it is. It's 2023.
It's also 3309 for me.
It's also 12023.
I was going on the Elite Dangerous world. It's 3309.
What are you talking about?
It's 3309 in Elite in the game.
Star dates and stuff.
Right. Go.
No, Elite Dangerous is set in the year 3309. That's all. But yeah.
How was your night, mate? Were you out with Bren?
No, Bren come back from seeing the kids today, and then we had our friends round this evening. Had a kebab, drunk some wine, played some board games.
I'm glad you were drunk when you had a kebab, because it's illegal to drink it's illegal to eat a kebab sober.
Oh, I'm still sober, but I had alcohol in my system.
Because anybody sober won't eat a kebab when they know what it's made of.
Oh, I will. I don't give a fuck what it's made of. It's not called doner kebab for nothing. They go around the hospitals, don't they?
Doner kebab. I promise to leave anybody my kebab out of my death.
You know, that has really bad meanings considering what kebab means where I grew up from, especially a badly packed one. But, you know, if you want to leave that, Colin, you carry on. I wasn't going to come on, and then Colin was like, "Come on!" down the screen at me. So, all right.
Evening, Mark.
I know you're set up for it.
Yeah, we've been going at it now for 2 hours and 54 minutes. Holy fuck!
I've been going for about 4 minutes, so well done. You had 2 hours out of me last night.
Yeah, I was gutted that I missed the 1 hour 59.
I gotta watch that yet.
But I stopped it on bang on 2 hours, didn't I?
Yeah, well, it's showing 2 hours and 1 second on YouTube. I noticed earlier on, so I was like, "Yes, done him." But no, carry on. Don't let me take over. Although I will argue the toss that Jaws 2 is actually a good film. Jaws 3 is shit, however.
Was Jaws,
that screaming woman just does my head in Jaws 2. Sorry.
Jaws 3 was the 3D, wasn't it? Was that
Jaws 3 3D? Yeah, where the younger boy Sean was killed in the first 3 minutes of the film.
Aye.
And the less said about the fourth one, the better. In fact, the fourth one was so bad, and I'm sure you'll all especially Del, who's a film buff. That film was so bad that even though it had Michael Caine in it, they had to bring Roy Schneider in at the end to replay the scene from the first Jaws film. Yeah. You know, the smile, you goddamn son of a bitch, and then blew it up. And it's like, hang on, why are you showing the bit from the first film? Michael Caine weren't even in that, nor was his character.
Michael Caine is famously that turned around and said, "I know it was a bad film, but I did it for the money."
Yeah, it paid for an house, didn't it?
You know, he actually turned around and said, "Oh yeah, it's shit." You know, it's seriously a bad film, but I wanted a house that year. So
was that the last ever Jaws 4, was it? Or Jaws the Revenge, as it was called, I think.
It was the Revenge, yeah. Yes, I think it is, because it's the only one that goes along that line, because otherwise you go into things like Sharknado and all that sort of crap, which had nothing to do with Sharknado, that's it. And there is no tie-in, but what I'm saying is there isn't anything that ties the Jawses along other than after the fourth, I think.
Yeah. One shark film that I used to think was really good was what the fuck was it called? What's that one with
Deep Blue Sea, I think you're going to say.
Yeah. I watched that about a year ago, and the fucking CGI is diabolical.
Is that the one where she's stuck on a
rig?
A buoy or something in the middle of, like she's nearly close to the beach, but quite
And
get there. It's full of coral and all sorts of shit.
Samuel L. Jackson, where he's standing giving a speech, and the shark goes, "What?" Fucking the water and brings him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CGI.
Piranha's a bad film as well.
I've never.
You could go down a route of water-based sea creatures that are awful films. Piranha's not that bad.
Good films as well, like The Abyss.
And The Deep.
The Abyss is coming out as 4K this year, so I'm happy about that. So.
Yeah, The Deep weren't too bad.
Yeah, The Deep.
The Deep, yeah.
I for films though, I still stand by what I said in the waffle yesterday. Having played the trailer to my friends tonight, Mad Heidi is a must-see film. It absolutely is.
I forgot all about that.
Mad Heidi.
Google that.
Yeah, I said to Al in the waffle, imagine if Switzerland had sort of like a very Nazi-esque people running the country that wanted to take over the world with cheese. And you've got a mountain girl that wants revenge for the death of her boyfriend, and chuck in as much blood, gore, Western references, war film references, everything. It is absolutely brilliant.
Does it beat Bad Taste? Or is it
no,
a
because
film, really,
it's a different type of film. This one was crowdfunded, so it actually had some sort of budget, whereas Bad Taste budget was 6p in a bag of gobstoppers.
Or Meet the Feebles, which basically blew my mind the first time I saw it. All these Muppets going around, fucking.
Well, fucking really.
Oh yeah, basically, you could use a better word, really. Yeah.
Listen, guys, I'm gonna leave the stream, and then I'm gonna put my headphones on and rejoin. So I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
All right, mate.
All right.
Have fun.
See, now we can take over.
You can take over. I'm not really that inclined to be.
No, I'm not really going to take over. But I recommend that film. It's stupid and totally over the top, but I loved it. And I think her name's Alice.
Anything over the top is fun. If they're not taking themselves too seriously, it's fun. If they try to take themselves too seriously, then they probably screw it up.
It was probably made like for 500,000, and basically, it will make a fortune.
Yeah, there are some some really well done effects in it. I mean, obviously there's some CGI and some classic sort of blood and guts, but it's really good. And I think the actress is called Alice Lucy. She's a young British actress who plays the role of Heidi, and she absolutely nails it. I think what helps with some of the fighting scenes is she's actually a second Dan black belt in Taekwondo, so she's got the moves, so it's pretty good.
He's back.
Well, that's some glare. That's some glare coming off that monster, mate. When you supposed to eat that at by now?
You know what? I was actually thinking about. I've still to do a Berserk video. I'm going to get that done, but I'm still looking for an edible hat. I mean,
I searched for one. I have actually searched for one. I can't find it.
It's a bit, no,
I thought you said you were just going to get a cake made out in the shape of a hat and just eat it.
That would be an idea.
I want to see him eat an actual hat with brown sauce and ketchup.
Oh, that's what I said. I said it's cheating because we were all expecting you to have a hat. But I understand. Yeah, anybody can make a cake in the shape of a hat.
Yeah, but what we're talking about, are we still on Joe's floor, or are you talking about Heidi or something?
No, we're talking about your hat now. I would.
As long as it's not in the shape of a top hat, I'm all right about it.
Yeah, then you can cut it into bits.
Exactly. That starts that whole conversation again.
But no, I mean, I'd rather outweigh a cake, hat-shaped cake than what he said to me, which is like he was glad he never said he'd do a stream naked, which was your other choice, weren't it?
Yeah. You and me both, mate. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I don't think my camera's got that good a zoom function.
Oh, hang on, you've dropped something. Okay.
That's all right. I found it. You invited me on. This is you know you got no one to blame but yourselves.
What abuse. What abuse. Fucking hell. Ah, dear.
Soon be
So
2024.
Yeah. So, yeah, what's your... When are you guys back to work, by the way? You're
Tuesday.
back on the Tuesday, I'm off till Wednesday. What about you, Del? Are you
Monday.
You're Monday calling?
Monday, 7:20
Yep.
in the morning.
What about yourself, Del? Have you got a date yet?
Well, I was going to mention it in my blog tomorrow, but I suppose I can mention it now. We're waiting for a chair for me because I had an occupational health report that said I needed a chair back in October. I went back to work the week before Christmas, but the chair that I've got behind me that I'm in at the moment, the lumbar support, it's so old that the pump that's in part of the lumbar support, it just comes back. After not because I don't sit in this chair very often. This is the longest I've sat in it since I went back to work. I get pains at my lower back. So as soon as I mentioned it on the third day, yeah, it's starting to go to my lower back, the pain now from my leg. They said, stop now then. It's not your fault. You need a chair. We've let you down. We've known you've needed a chair since October. We'll chase it up. So I can't see how I can start the first day after the bank holiday Monday. So I'll just be waiting and hoping that the chair arrives by the end of the week. But they've been chasing it for 6 weeks. So,
Go in, fall over, have a claim up. You didn't hear that from me.
No.
Yeah.
So again, I have to go down the route of not being paid off sick. I'm being paid under what they call a disability loop, where you are saying I can't work because I'm waiting for you to supply me with a chair, and that means and I need it because I've got a disability.
How long have you actually been off work then, Dale? When were you last at work?
I was last at work Thursday before Christmas. I went back to work Tuesday.
Right, you're back. And how did it go?
And I worked for 3 days. It was fine. It was just that after sitting in the chair for 4 hours on the first day, 4 hours on the second day, by the time I got to the 4th hour on the third day, because there's no lumbar support on the chair, I started to get lower back pain. And they said, look, there's no point working Christmas Eve. You might as well just wait for us to supply the chair. And then between Christmas and New Year, they said, we're chasing the chair, but there's no point. Even though that your back will probably be okay for that first day back, you might as well wait until we get you the chair. So now I'm not going back on that day, but I'm waiting for a chair. So.
Yeah.
Well, Retro and Lim says Hermes have it. It's for sale at the local car bar.
Yeah, that's right.
Getting back to kind of gaming, guys. So what do you think? Has there been any standout games like for the 8-bits? What do you think has been the standout game in the last year?
Eye of the Beholder, Commodore 64.
What's that?
Eye of the Beholder, Commodore 64.
But are you saying that because it's an unbelievable game that you wouldn't think could be done, or is it because you think that the game is so incredible? It's such an incredible game because you could look at it from 2 points of view with that game, and I have played it, and I do like those types of games, Dungeon Master type games. But what I'm saying is, it looks incredible, but is the game incredible?
Well, yes, to be honest. It's standout because basically it's an Amiga standard. It's a 16-bit game which has been ported to an 8-bit computer, even though it's using a cartridge and all the memory involved in the cartridge. With modern tech, it couldn't have been done in a time it couldn't have been done when the Commodore 64 was prevalent. It was. But the fact that it's a 16-bit game ported to an 8-bit computer and runs just as well, including the mouse control, is absolutely incredible, even by today's standards. Even though the game is good, don't get me wrong, but the fact that this is a 16-bit game put to an 8-bit computer with no loss in quality and even an increasing quality because they've added features, it's something else.
I just wanted if there's a discussion on it, that you go past the technical achievement of it. That's all. It's not just so many people will go. There was no way that
it was not possible.
I'm so blown away because
it was really not possible at the time of the Commodore 64's release. Within a price guide which was reasonable. It would cost more for the cartridge to play it than it would have cost for a Commodore 64 because of the actual memory requirements for it. But the whole fact that it's been not only ported from a 16-bit game to an 8-bit game, but improved in quality is incredible, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. And I haven't played it yet properly. I've seen it played. I've tried it out. I mean, I've used my mouse. That's to play. That actually allows me to use my standard USB mouse on the Commodore 64, so it works. And it's incredible that this sort of achievement has been done, even in this time.
Yeah, I would have said I had to be older as well. I haven't had a proper look at terrestrial yet, but that looks like a bit of a doozy and all.
Yeah, and then that was the next argument that I was going to bring in. You see, I was going to say, look, there is a game called Terrestrial coming out. It's a merger of sort of like Beachhead 2, and Raid Over Moscow in one, right? You couldn't do it back in the day because you wouldn't have had enough disk space or enough RAM and all of that sort of stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, it really is just that game, with the side-scrolling, the tanks and the raising the periscope and all of that sort of stuff. So what I'm trying to say is, we're talking about games and technology. There's a game you wouldn't have done it back in the time, but I would still say Eye of the Beholder is better because that's a better game and it's the more my type of game, if you see what I mean. But other people would argue, no, I'm an arcader, so I'd go with the You see what I mean? But they both have technical aspects that said you couldn't do it back in the day.
So Colin, Eye of the Beholder. Panther and I were talking yesterday about what was the game I was playing, Mayhem in Monsterland, and you were explaining, Panther, that the Roland brothers got a technique where they could actually flick between two colours, which gave the effect of creating a further colour, which is just mind-blowing. So does Eye of the Beholder, does it use that technology, or is it just
No, Sam's Journey uses that technology, but Eye of the Beholder basically uses the extra memory that are supplied by the cartridge, and of course the mouse control. But it doesn't use any special hardware techniques, but it does use the extra memory. And the way it does it, though, I mean, I think it's only a megabyte, to be honest. I say only. You're talking about an 8-bit system with a megabyte. So yeah, it's a wonderful achievement, the fact that they've got this 16-bit game on an 8-bit system and improved it over the 16 bits.
What do you think? I've asked this question before. What do you think is? I mean, let cards on the table. If you were going to play the C64 version or the Amiga version, I would imagine the Amiga version is going to be the better looking version because it's a different computer. It's a higher spec computer. What do you think is the appeal of playing older games on old computers, whereas you can just load? I mean, we've seen Arlosoft knock out some absolute stonking conversions. They've done the best Galaxian, the fantastic Galaga. Why would we want to play these when we can play the arcade one?
Because we can.
I can't explain that in terms of.
Well, I've got my own answer
objective
to
things,
that.
But it's subjective. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I love it.
And
that's just the way it is. I love the fact that you can play these things on the Commodore 64.
If I'd have played the game to death, like you've just said, on the Amiga, like Eye of the Beholder, And years later, the Commodore 64 version comes out, and it comes out the blue, and nobody thinks, oh, it could ever have been done. You'd think to yourself, do I want to go back to something on the Amiga that I've done before and I've seen it? Or do I want to see how the C64's interpretation of that screen would look like? So you remember when we used to play games, it was always about, I want to see what this is going to look like on the next level or the next screen or whatever. The C64 version is going to be the unknown. You know it's going to look what it should look like because you've got the Amiga version, but now you've got this C64 version and you've got to know, is it going to be as good as they could possibly do it, or is this going to look shoddy? I'm going to go round the corner and find that there's this shoddily drawn thing, or have they done a really good interpretation of it, you know, for this particular part of the game?
Again, Charlie Farr's been playing Eye of the Beholder on his streams, and it really is spot on for the 16 bits. It's an 8-bit machine, and I've actually played it very briefly just to test it on a real Commodore 64, and it's just perfect. Really, it really is.
Talking of Commodore 64s, I know Alan's had a dabble with it. Have either of you two, Del, Colin, tried the Denise emulator that Ox has been going on about?
I have.
Alan tried it tonight, and I downloaded it, but he told me if I was to play games tonight, just download Vice, so I did. So I didn't download the
Denise is good. But
it's very good.
But
I've got a real Commodore 64 I can set up in 3 minutes. And I got the Mister I can set up in about 30 seconds. So I hardly ever use an emulator on a computer anymore. Denise is good. I will admit it.
Well, I've through the guidance of Ox, I've now added it as my default emulator in GameBase.
Yeah, and I don't blame you either.
It's, I mean, I don't know what the SID's kind of emulation's like on it, but there's so many options. I've managed to get the joystick working as well. So yeah,
well, I'll tell you what's sorted
probably pretty standard because they all use the SID play.
But the thing it does do, if you I thought, well, I'm used to having 2 SID chips, one of each. I set it up. I loaded up. I think I loaded up Arcade Classics to listen to Rob Hubbard's music, and it was belting out of my surround speakers downstairs. Now, Vice doesn't do that. If you set 2 SIDs up in Vice, unless you have something that specifically uses the address, it'll only come out of one side. Yeah. Whereas nice. Denise was blasting it out in stereo. You know, it wasn't as good as a SID FX, obviously, because it's not hardware. But yeah, the emulation of the SIDs is as good as Vice, as good as the Mister. You know, it's as good as I've heard emulation-wise. I tested it out with the Alien music, like I did when we was trying them all out in Discord, and yeah, it pretty much sounds the same as Vice and the Mister and that. Yeah. But yeah, it's good.
Well, did you try
have you seen the Evo 64?
Sorry, Colin. You go first and then Del.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Colin?
Have you seen the Evo 64?
Yes, I have. Ox put the link up for it. That's lovely, but I'm not sure I'd want to pay 500 quid for that new tube.
No, I wouldn't want to pay that money. I mean, but it really is. I mean, the basic package there. I mean, you're talking 350 quid just for a Commodore 64 reproduction, but it's probably worth it if you can do it. I wouldn't go for the either of the sound options, the sound extra options, because they are really expensive. I mean, the new tube at 500 quid and the Quadro is at 1,000 quid or $1,000, whatever, $500 and $1,000 is a lot of money. And it's like Retrobits has said, it's really for the audiophiles. But the actual board before you actually put the sound things on there, it looks like an awesome system because you can put 2 SIDs on there in ZIF sockets. You can just pop them in there, not force them in there, pop them in there, flick the thing over, and you can just flick the dip switches and not the dip switches, the jumpers and dip switches, whatever, but together, and set up these SIDs. You can just swap between them at will. And I mean, that's quite an awesome system in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that with the Ultimate 64. That's got 2 SID sockets in it, and with that one, I don't. It's FPGA, so I don't need the CIA chips or the processor or the VIC chip, which is what you need on that board.
Yeah.
But I watched it. It's a beautiful looking thing, and it does the job. I saw his. It was the Retro Bits one I watched, and I saw his demonstrations, and he was saying how good the sound was. And I don't disbelieve him, but
I honestly don't think though that the sound is superior, remarkably superior. I don't think a sound would be $500 superior to the SID FX. So the SID FX is pretty awesome as it is.
Well, yeah, and you consider in this room, what's it? It's a Sansui amplifier I've got here, and it's one from the early 80s. So the sound on that is absolutely like really, really silky smooth. So playing the SIDs through that, I'm probably not going to notice too much difference. But it's good that they keep recreating these things.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it as well. But I think with the Ultimate 64 Elite, I think I've reached sort of like the zenith of where I'm going to go, because it does everything I want.
Really awesome, that is.
Yeah, but if the price was really, 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 really low, would you go down that Commander route, where the guy that does 8-bit demonstrated and said, look, you could actually set this up to be 64 SIDs if you want, in combination with an YM chip, and you could do music like this. And he sort of tried to do a demonstration, and I was just thinking to myself, I could just imagine what Panther thinks about this, because it's all, it's not the real proper.
If you've got
SID
64 SIDs,
right?
You don't need a YM.
Right?
Yeah.
But all I was going at is the possibilities there sounded really quite enticing. But I thought to myself, do you know what? If that was probably a board for about £100, I wonder if Panther would just go, I'll have that, just because I'd like to know what it'd be like to combine a SID chip with a YM chip, if you see what I mean, and just see that I've got all of those channels now.
We've got it.
I wonder what I could do with it,
The sound expander's a YM chip you can plug into a 64.
Well, no, I had a sound expander. I had the full size keyboard. It played the banjos and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get at is that this is done like emulation of a sort. And all I was going at is that if it's quite higher emulation, and you've got the extra YM chip in there where you can play MIDI as well as SID at the same time, and you can then get a musician to come along and say, right, do this. I want you to write a MIDI and a SID, put them together and come out with a tune. Would you be enticed to buy that hardware and then listen to music that sounds more like tracker music, I suppose, as I would think it would come out like? It would probably sound like a tracker. But I don't know.
I'd be tempted, mate. I would be tempted.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Ultimate, I was telling Alan last night, I've got 2 SIDs in there. It's got 2 SID sockets, but I'm only using 1 SID socket with my SID FX, and it works fine as it should, which I'm glad about, because I didn't know if that was the case or not. But you can put the 2 SIDs in. It auto detects them and what have you. But it's also got a bank of 8 ulti-SIDs. So I could, in theory, if I put another 8580 in the second SID socket and turned all those SIDs on, I could have 11 SIDs. But there's you go past 3 or 4, there's no tunes that use that. It'd just be adding more wall of sound.
There's one of those 8.
Yeah, so all I was getting at is that what I think is enticing about what 8-bit's trying to do is there isn't anything on the market where you combine MIDI and SID at the same time.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting.
You know what I mean? I thought to myself, now that's an enticing prospect, but you've got to price it right. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure this thing's going to be about £400, and you just go, well, stuff you then. Because I'd rather just go down the proper SID route and just have 2 SIDs. It's an enticing prospect, that was all.
It is. I'd like to see something like that in the hands of someone like Jason Page, to see what he could do with it. It would be very interesting, but I think that's more for people that make music. I mean, fucking hell, man, I just press record and then I do my little magical balancing that I do.
Yeah.
My little sort of like my 11 herbs and spices, if you will. But
I still see Vincent Merkel's I Have a Knot in My Superstring is probably one of the best SIDs ever written.
I need to go and listen to that. I will do.
Listen to that. I've actually made a video of it. You need to listen to it. It really, I mean, there's only 5,000 something bytes. It really is absolutely amazing. It's incredible.
I'm just laughing at Calden saying there, I love how we're celebrating 2023 by talking about a computer from the early 80s.
What do you expect from this channel?
We have a long way to travel before any of us get to 2023. So by that reckoning, I'll be 94 years old when we start.
No,
talking
seriously, 2023. The 2020s with emulation allows us to experience the early 80s.
Here's a question for Panther. It
allows us to do it and still enjoy the power of the 2020s.
Oh yeah.
You better ask away, mate. I'm looking up at you. Go and tell us.
Right, anyway, listen to me. Yeah,
I'm not looking up that. That would be a bit too.
You can see up my nose. I mean, Panther, you celebrate the SID chip, and I love the SID chip to bits. And obviously, we've managed to irk a number of videos out how just you listen to some tune and you think, fucking hell, that's coming out of this beige box from 1982. And part of the biggest part of this wow factor is the fact that it's limited hardware, it's making this noise. It's all very well having all these new additions and you can have 11 SID chips and that. At what point does that stop becoming a Commodore 64? And do you not find if you start having 11 SID chips, are you not losing the kind of where we've come from? It becomes a new computer, it becomes a new piece of hardware.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yes and no, because I mean the ultimate board I've got, it's got everything else on a chip. It's like the Mister, except this is just a Commodore 64 FPGA and that's it. So the actual innards of the FPGA are, for want of a better word, hardware simulation. And the SID chips are real. Now I've got, you get a menu up, but if I turn it on, it comes up Commodore Basic V3, blah 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 blah, basic bytes 39811, all that sort of stuff. I can press a button, get a menu up, load a tape, a cartridge, a disc image, and I can play Commodore 64 games on it. So at its heart, it's a Commodore 64. But it's also useful for people that want to make the games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Sam's Journey, Eye of the Beholder, these games that use a lot of extra stuff. All that works on it as well, which means I can buy the digital versions, so I don't have to go and buy cartridges, because like we were saying last night, neither of us are collectors, we just buy the stuff we like. But it saves me having to spend like 80 quid on a cartridge or whatever, when I can pay 5 quid for the download, and I'm happy to buy games from... the modern coders and that, and it just works. And I haven't now got to worry about my PLA's knackered in my 6581 or my VIC chips on its way out. I've got 2 SIDs in there. I've got spare SID chips. I've got 15 or 16 computers with I've got 8 of each type of 64. So I've got 8 8580s, 8 6581s in them. So all told, I've got about 22, 24 SID chips. If I had a machine I could put them all in, I would do. Chris Abbott offered me, when I was recording, he offered me a hard SID that takes 4 SIDs, and he was prepared to lend it to me with the 4 SIDs in it, and I was like, no, I don't want that responsibility, because those things are like rocking all shit now, and if something happens to it, I'd be beside myself if something happened to it. Yeah, it just plugs in, and then you can go into programs like SID Play, choose hard SID, and instead of using the emulator, it'll play from the real SID chips via an ISA port.
There's no ISA computers anymore, so the hard SID is retro in itself.
Yeah, well, you can get converters for a lot of these things that'll convert it to PCI, but it's a lot of faff.
I'd love a hard SID for PCI. Or PCI Express. It would be absolutely amazing. I'd even go out and spend money and get more SID chips for that.
I'd be tempted, mate. I really would.
Good evening, country roaders. Big up the Mamemeister Hogmanay boys.
I'm not really keeping up with Chatty at all. I do apologise, but
right, there's one for you, Panther. Ox is asking.
Well, I think
it's three channels per SID. But when I noticed to follow it to that, to be not a Commodore 64. I mean, I got 2 SIDs and Panther as well in my Commodore 64. I think that's about the limit for the actual Commodore 64. Once you get past that, then you're not really talking about Commodore 64. You're talking about SID station sort of stuff. To be honest.
Yeah, it's like it becomes more of a synthesizer than a computer.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, there's a tune that uses 8 SIDs, and all right, it's every SID chip has got 3 channels on it. But if you're using 8, that's like 24 channels of sound. So if you put something separate on each channel, you can make a really good, synthesized, sawtooth and wave wall of sound, and it does sound good. But I'm happy with the 2 because a lot of the stuff that I want to listen to is, all right, there's a lot of new stuff that comes out that's good, like the one Colin was talking about, and some of the ones you've put up in demos, Al. But yeah, a lot of the stuff I want to listen to is from the 80s and 90s before there was, 2 SIDs and 3 SIDs and 4 SIDs. So I think that's probably... I think 2 at once is my limit. I could do 3, or I could emulate and do 11, but I'm sticking with 2 because that's what I know. That's what I like.
2's good. I mean, 6 channels is really enough, to be honest. It's 6 is quite a bit. I mean, okay, even you've got XM or the modern tracker channels, if you like. They got more, but 6 channels on an emulated machine. Not an emulated machine, that's not what I meant. On an 8-bit machine, 6 channels is really enough. If you're going for just pure analog channels.
Yeah, I think for me, anything above 3 channels, then you start to lose how impressed you are with it. I think the massive part is some of the stuff that Panther, Lacoz, or myself kind of demo in the SID shows is the fact
easy for you to say.
is the fact that it's running on, again, I keep going back to it, it's running on this fucking beige computer, and anytime I listen to I do any of these demo videos, I always like to kind of go and load it up in the C64 just to make sure
I'm
that
fine.
it's actually coming out with that.
I am tipsy, but I'm fine.
Yeah,
but nothing wrong with that, mate.
Well, I've said it enough times before. The main reason that I went down the SID effects route,
I'm enjoying myself.
Absolutely, New Year, mate. Yeah.
Is because I don't like mono through headphones. I don't mind it when it's coming through speakers, but through headphones, I prefer the stereo sound, and that was the available option. And I recorded a couple of tunes, and the rest is 6 or 7, or no, is it 8 albums, a YouTube channel, and this great big screen behind me. It's just taken off. And that's what I like doing. So for me, the SID FX in the Commodore 64 is absolutely still a Commodore 64. I mean, you played on the one I had here, Al, and you was marvelling at the sound, and you were playing Drop Zone. You know what I mean? It's just one of them, not Drop Zone, Hero.
Yeah.
Well, that helicopter sound goes, the only good bit of sound on the Commodore 64 version. It was going round the speakers. It was pretty good.
Del, you've got a C64, haven't you?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah, you've got a C64, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got a 128 as well.
Yeah, do you actually?
Whoa! I'd love a 128. I gotta be honest, I'd love a 128.
Yeah, but I haven't, like Panther, got a 128D, but I've got a 128.
What's the difference?
One was a disk drive.
Built-in disk drive?
Integrated into it.
Really?
Yeah, the D looks like the old
A1000.
Yeah, a desktop computer, like the flat form factor with a monitor on top of the case and a keyboard.
That was my A1000, and pretty much the D would have looked like that.
Nice.
It would have had the handle. It would have had the handle over where the disk drive hole would be, and
5 1/4 inch rather than 3.5.
Yeah, I was gutted when someone gave me one of them for nothing.
Oh, I bet. My heart beats for you.
That was my mate Adam. He's a genuine China plate. He really is. He's one of the best. And you know, I gave him a ticket to go to the 8-Bit Symphony to Hull, and you know, during that trip, I didn't want anything off of him. He picked me up from my mum and dad's house in North London, so I got to there from Devon. He took me up to Hull. Then we did the gig, had a night in a hotel in separate rooms, I hasten to add. And then he brought me back down again, and he said, "Oh, I've bought a job lot of machines. I've got a spare 128D that needs a bit of TLC on the case and that." He goes, "You know, thanks for an awesome weekend. I'm going to gift it to you, and you can't argue." And I'm like, "Well, are you sure? That's a lot of money, because they go for like 500 quid." And he went, "Nope." He goes, "It's yours. It's got your name on it." And it just took him a couple of years to get it sent to me, because he was trying to sort out the disk drive, but the disk drive in it's knackered, the 1571. So he's trying to locate another one, but it's here now. So when the weather picks up, I can start retro brighting and fixing all the clips on the case, so it looks lovely again. But yeah, it's a great bit of kit. The 128D is probably the best 8-bit computer.
Do you think we'll ever see another computer or bit of hardware where people are fanatical about like the capability of the music? I mean, the SID again, it's an old computer, and the fact that it's putting out
chance.
What's the name of that? Bloody, I can't even remember. Lucosa's favourite, in his opinion, the best SID tune ever. What's it called again?
Oh, the best SID tune ever.
What the hell is it called? And you're like, you don't think that?
It was in the last SID show.
What's it called again?
Oh,
I've completely that you and Lucosa heard, and you went, nah, there's no way that's coming from a C6.
Oh, what? Hi-Fi Sky?
Yeah, Hi-Fi Sky.
Oh, Hi-Fi Sky is good. Hi-Fi Sky is good.
Yeah. I mean, where am I going with this? It's just, you know, when you hear that and you think, fucking hell, there's no way that's coming from a C64, and you're gobsmacked. It just, you can't believe that it's coming out of this limited piece of limited hardware. There's no other computer or other thing that exists where I don't think where you're going to have that same fanaticism. I can't even fucking speak properly.
Fanaticism, I think you're trying to say.
That's the word. Yeah. I mean, the C64 the SID chip seems to be quite unique. The fact that there's still this massive following of it, you'll never get that, because now, I mean, when was the last time you played a PC game or a PlayStation 4 game and go, fucking hell, listen to the sound and that's phenomenal. We just take it for granted. But when you play a Commodore 64 game, and I was playing, I think I mentioned yesterday, I was playing, what was it called, Mayhem in Monsterland, and some of the sound effects was like, wow. And you're impressed with it, and you know, it's I don't think we'll never ever get to that stage again where people are obsessed with sound. Hi-Fi Sky, yeah,
it's quality tune. No, I think the last of the sound chips died with potentially the 16-bit consoles. I mean, the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive had their own sound chips, but once you got to, and maybe the N64, when you got to the PlayStation, you're looking at CD sounds and recording. It's not even samples. It's actual music tracks on the CDs.
Yeah, exactly. It's not synthesized anymore, and the SID is a synthesizer chip.
Yeah.
Even the YM series are synthesizers. And you don't get that anymore. It's all just basically recorded music.
But
it's not synthesizers anymore.
In on the flip side of that, it's not out yet. I did a video with Lucosa where we were talking about PC game music, and particularly a lot of we were talking about composers and classical music, and there are classical composers that compose and score music for games just like they do films. And it should be considered a proper form of classical music, because that's what it is. You've got an 80-piece orchestra playing it, and someone has composed it just for that game. I mean, one of the games he was talking about had actual like opera in it, so they'd got an opera singer in, male and female, like a high-pitched woman and a really low baritone bloke or whatever, and that is composed music. That's fine, but yeah, when it's just samples mashed together. Yeah, I mean, I'm going back about 20 years now. I used to use the Dance EJ software, and there was a young lad I worked with who's about 10 years younger than me, and he was going on about how, like rock music is dead and this, that and the other, and how dance music's the way forward. And I went, well, to be honest with you, mate, his name was John. I said, to be honest with you, John, I could knock out a track like that in about 10 minutes. He went, fuck off, could you? He went, bring one in tomorrow. So when I got home from work that night, I got in like 6 a.m. Before I went to bed, I fired up the PC, joined a load of samples together, stuck a dance drum beat on it. There was some samples of lyrics, and I knocked this 3-minute dance track up, and I took it in, and I said, "Here, what do you think of that?" He went, "This is brilliant." He went, "Fuck off, did you did that?" I went, "Yeah, I did." I did it. It took me about 10 minutes this morning. I went, "It's talentless pap, mate. It's what it is. It's for taking drugs and getting off your tits to and jumping up and down to lights in nightclubs." And he was like, "All right, fair enough. You made your point." I went, "Yes, I have."
Yeah. I mean, do you think, at what point are we going to get to the end of what the SID can do? Or I suppose it's a bit like saying, have we seen all a guitar can do? The fact it's a limitless. I mean, the SID is an instrument, isn't it?
It's an instrument, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue to see stuff.
I mean, people are still making music with theremins and that. We're talking like stuff from the 60s, and then, like I was just saying about classical, you've still got people using cellos and violins and tubas and trumpets and harps and that and mandolins and what have you, and stuff that goes back hundreds of years, and they're still composing music on it. So as long as there's people that will compose, the SID chip will just keep going. And I'm sure all the people that compose for the AY chips for the for the Spectrum crowd, they'll still be going as well, because that is another music and instrument.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I'm a massive fan of the Vectrex, and having that whatever the
Vectrex is boy.
The Vectrex cartridge. Fucking hell! Some of the music that's coming out of a 1979 piece of hardware is absolutely fucking phenomenal. You're like, it's just incredible. It's incredible that people are keep kind of pushing the boundaries. Just
for this, I need my glasses. I'm gonna check when the Vectrex was released.
You're gradually.
You see, I'm cheating. I'm like Alan. Contact lenses.
Yeah.
Very focal. So I'll tell you what, mate. That was the best thing you ever.
Oh yeah,
83.
You're enjoying them, aye. Good.
That's the best thing you've ever recommended to me, mate. I tell you, I can see close up. I can see far away. It's marvelous.
I only need glasses when I'm tired, really, but so contact lenses are a bit much, but. Yeah.
Well, I was finding that I needed reading glasses, which was fine, and then I went and had an eye test, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you need distance glasses for watching the telly and driving."
I'm not that bad yet. Not quite yet.
No. Well, I said I don't drive, so he went, "Well, I recommend it for the telly," and I went, "Well, I'd rather have something like contact lenses." He said, "Well, try these out first, see if your eyes can handle distance." And I was sitting there. I had them about 2 weeks, and I was sitting there watching the telly. I think I was watching. I think it was one of Al's live streams on a Sunday before. I wasn't sitting up here. I was watching it in the front room. So I had the chat going on my phone, and I had the video going up full screen on the telly. And I was just having to keep chopping and changing between glasses. One for the telly, then take them off, put the other ones on to read the comments and moderate on my phone. And I thought, fuck this for a game of soldiers. And I spoke to Al, said, "Them contact lenses you told me about." Went to Specsavers a couple of days later.
Yeah.
Other opticians are available. And yeah, I got the varifocals, and I put them in as a trial. And he said, "Right, go and have a walk around town." And I went into WH Smith's that we got locally here. And I was picking up books, and then I was looking down the shop, and I could read the wrappers on the sweets, and I was looking, but I was like, it's like I've had like 30 years taken off my eyes. So yes, I think they're fantastic. I can't wait for ones with zoom functions and.
There's always plastic surgery as well.
Well, there is, but
I was getting my eyes tested a couple of years ago, and you know, I says, "Oh, this is how's your distance?" I says, "I need lenses for that." I says, when I take my lenses out, I can read the number on a SIM card. I says, my fucking close-up eyesight is shit hot, but the minute I put contact lenses in, I can't read shit. And I said, it's a pity you can't get lenses that do both. They went, oh, we can. I went, what? I says, why did nobody tell me? Oh, there you go, bang, there you go. Fucking read. You can read your phone. You can read distance. It's like fucking brilliant.
My distance is good, but my short sight is not that good.
I don't know. I've seen a load of videos, Colin. You seem to almost crash into cars a lot. I think you might need some.
Yeah, that's because they keep running in front of me. Don't charge me, so I don't know what the hell's happening there.
I'm terrible for not commenting on YouTube videos I watch, but I do watch all of your cycling vlogs, and sometimes I'm sitting there thinking, fuck me, I'd have given up riding a bike by now. Some of the people that cut across in front of you, and you know, you're in a cycle lane, it's like they're trying to mount the curb to get you.
Yeah. I'm still alive though.
You are still alive.
I mean, presumably, Colin, when you're out on your bike, you're just so aware of cars. And do you anticipate that somebody's going to pull out in front of you? Yeah.
Yes, I'm basically consider every other road user an idiot.
Yeah.
It hasn't done me wrong yet.
Yeah, that's the best way. I remember when I was doing when I worked in warehousing.
I passed 5 driving tests in a motor vehicle. I passed one in a car, one for personal use, and 4 as a bus driver. So I'm aware of the roads. I'm aware of how people in motorized vehicles think, and I basically think for other people as well as myself, because I just want to stay alive. Basically,
well, that's it. When I was doing forklift tests, when I was working in warehousing, one of the things the instructor said you was treat everyone else like they're an idiot, and you'll probably be all right. Yeah, it's a good way to think.
Yeah. Just one for Dale, because you've been quite quiet, mate. I see you've been doing a lot of typing in the thing.
Well, I couldn't get a word in edgewise, so I thought I might as well have a conversation with these people, because they're more interested with what I want to say.
Well, practice this sentence. Oi, you cunts! Shut up and let me say something. I would have carry on.
Shut the fuck up.
The only thing I said is that I thought Panther had a right idea that the SNES was a pretty good chip, but then I started to think to my own self, and I thought the AWE 64 card, which came out in 1996, which has a chipset on it and uses sound font technology, probably gave me a better understanding that was probably the last chip as a gaming chip, because what I did with that card, instead of putting Cakewalk and all the other software on it, I started to put old MIDI games that used to be in PC games and actually install sound fonts that sounded like proper pianos, and basically therefore got a fantastic output to it, which is better than the SNES. The SNES is 1991, so Panther would have said that was the last good chip. I would say I'd go a little bit later, and I'd just say that the AWE was equally a gaming chip, and therefore is considered to be also a synthesizer of a sort. And so I would say it's just a little bit later, because CD did destroy it all. I consider therefore that the AWE was probably the last good chip.
Well, that's a fair shout, mate. I mean, I stuck with my Amiga until 1999, and I went down the PlayStation route in the mid 90s. So I never had a PC until early 2000, late 99. So I missed all that. I mean, I'd gone past Sound Blasters by the time I got them. You know, they had onboard sound by the time I got my first Windows 98 machine.
Because Ponder and I were contemplating earlier about they missed a trick, Commodore, with the Paula, and we were saying they should have upgraded that. And when you guys were talking about the 64 and you were saying, about adding all these different chips and all of that sort of stuff, I think the next integration of the SID chip would have been slightly more channels, a higher range in octaves, in a singular chip with possibly more RAM and possibly a digital element, and that's what the Paula should have been, but it never was.
I mean, I'm no engineer, but if I'd have had my, wishes to design something, I would have absolutely put a 8580 in the Amiga alongside the Paula chip and add both of them together. I think that would have been interesting.
So what I was trying to get at, and only Panther, somebody with his technical ability, could probably answer this. Sorry, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're just breaking up like hell. Yeah.
Sorry. Was
my end?
Was that as many chips as you want in the SID that you put the SID? It's still only got a certain octave range.
Yeah.
So you couldn't put another SID chip in and go, I want to go a higher octave range, or a lower octave range.
SID had a good range of octaves.
Then the range, yes. But what I'm trying to say is a keyboard's bigger. So what I'm trying to say is the only way forward for a new SID chip would have been to give it a better range and more channels and a digital element.
More channels, definitely.
So you can put 26 SIDs in and you'd still never be able to increase its range higher or lower than the range it was built to be within. So the next integration purely, therefore, must be to increase its range. Surely, because you could put 26 of them in and they'll all be within the same range.
The SID chip can actually go from very low to very high frequency.
Yeah, and I'm not ignoring that, but what I'm trying to get at, it always says in the manual, this is a 5-octave chip with, and the VIC-20 was a 3-octave, etc., etc. You could see where they were going with this. So all I'm saying is, why didn't Commodore then go down the route of a 7-octave?
Many.
See what I mean? Yeah.
Why didn't Commodore go many?
So what I'm trying to say is, surely that would have been the next integration of a SID chip, would have been a bigger range and more channels.
I personally, I think the better SID chip would have been more channels. I don't think about the octave range, but the more channels.
But you can do more channels now. What I'm saying is you can't increase the range, can you? That's all I was getting at. That's my argument. My argument would be.
I mean, it can go to about 16 kilohertz. So
that's all. And I was just
right. We're getting fucking way too technical. I
was just going to say, Alan, that was the only two things that I was going to bring into it. That was it.
Right. There's one for you, Dale, from Cauldron.
I haven't got. What the hell? Where's my chat? I haven't got a chat window anymore. Where the hell's that gone?
Right, Dale, there's a question for you, mate.
Yes, I had an automatic driving license because I worked on a farm, but I couldn't drive a manual car on the roads. But I don't think it's that anymore. I think you have to have a driving license, and it allows you. If you learn to drive in a manual car, you can pick up an automatic and drive straight away, an automatic and a manual. If you learn to drive and passed your test in an automatic, you can't go in a manual.
I think for Cauldron's benefit, when he says manual, he means stick shift. I think that's what you call it over there.
Sorry if I didn't explain that correctly. I was just explaining.
Yeah, no, you did. I mean, I don't know about now, but
it's not now. I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's any such thing as just an automatic.
Fucking Colin's falling on the floor, I think, guys.
Yeah.
He's been slipping down.
But I must admit,
I'm reading the chat.
I must admit, guys, I've got to go soon because I've got to do my blog tomorrow, and I'm just not going to get up in the morning.
Yeah, we're going to call it. We're going to wrap it up at 3:59:59. So we've got 9 minutes. Just changing the subject. Films. Back in the 90s, I used to love going to the cinema on a Friday night to watch the latest blockbuster. I couldn't tell you a fucking film other than, what's that bloody Avatar? I couldn't tell you any blockbuster. Are blockbuster films in the cinema a thing of the past? Is it all Amazon Prime and YouTube specials and all that bollocks? I mean, from what I can gather, I think, all the big kind of AAA actors, they're now making TV programs for Prime. Have we seen the death knell of the AAA films in the cinema?
My opinion of that one is that the the borders that separate what TV and film is are shrinking. It's still two separate things. It's just that you can now have Netflix design a film that they'll put out on a Friday that will be in the cinema at the same time. Because Sky do that. Sky have a system where they always have a new film that they show on a Friday.
Maurice,
You'll see.
The amazing Maurice, which he watched on Now TV the other day, which is released in the cinema at the same time, is a prime example of what you just said.
Yeah, but then there are films like Maverick, which are purposely designed to be a film that you see at the cinema, which will go down the same route of being broadcast terrestrially and put on a disc as any movie has been since 70s, 80s, and so forth. So it's just that it's shrinking because Netflix now have so much money that they can make their own films, and they will put it out in a cinema because most cinemas now have got a digital projector, which means that they can just broadcast it there and get money as well. So,
can Netflix pay Tom Cruise just as much money as bloody Universal?
Eventually, I would say that they would. Yeah,
they probably can. They probably can.
If the script's good enough and there's enough stunts he can do, I'd imagine Tom Cruise would probably do it anyway. I mean, I don't think Tom Cruise really makes shit films. I mean, all right, he's probably had a couple of duffers over the years, but most of the Tom Cruise films you see, it's not many. I mean, even
I tell you what, he's a weird guy, but his films are good.
I don't like Cocktail, but most of the films he's done
I have to say, I thought I thoroughly enjoyed Maverick. I thought that was phenomenal. I went to the cinema to see that.
Maverick. Apparently, I haven't seen it. Yet.
Well, they designed a specific camera for the aerial shots in that, an actual design of an actual camera to do that film. So that's going to be a definite expensive movie to make, and therefore something that Netflix would never do, because I don't think Netflix would ever put money. I don't think Netflix are in the business at the moment to say, design a piece of hardware to make this film, like Avatar is with the 3D cameras when that first came out, and Maverick with its needing a special 70mm lens for inside the cockpit of a jet. Which is why they had to design it. And even Rocky had Steadicam, where the guy could run up the steps at the same time as Rocky and keep it steady. That was the Steadicam, and it was one of the first uses of a Steadicam camera. You're not going to see Netflix invest their money into that. But for someone like Michael Caine, who's openly turned around and said, I do things for the money, he'll go on anything. And I should think at some point...
Quick, phone him up, Al. He's got 5 minutes.
I was just thinking that. I was just expecting to see
I was just going to end it with at some point in his career, you're going to have, Tom Cruise turn around and say, I'm old enough now just to accept anything.
Yeah. Now, listen, guys, before we finish up, over to you, Dale, since you're talking. What's your plans for your YouTube channel next year? Are you still going to just concentrate in the blog, have your kind of your history games? Is there any direction you want to take your channel?
Well, I was going to say it in my blog tomorrow, to be quite honest.
All right, okay. Spoiler. Right, okay. We'll move on. We'll move on to Panther.
We're all right.
We'll move on to Panther, or maybe we'll move on to Colin before he falls off his chair again. What about yourself? You don't actually do a lot of videos, Colin. You're more kind of a twitchy man, aren't you?
Well, I do the videos. If I have more time, I do more videos. As simple as that. Twitch is easy because it's live streaming. I do my Mamemeister kerfuffles, which are always my favorite Twitch streams. I do others. I do my easy ones, like which I'll do later on today, which is my second video. But yeah, I do like to do videos. Yeah, I like to spend more time on videos. It was great fun. I mean, the Super Cobra one I did relatively recently was great fun to do. It took a lot of work, but finding time for things like that takes, you know, at the moment it's quite busy.
I'll be honest with you. I don't watch Twitch. I refuse to watch.
No,
I'm
I
not
don't blame
interested. I've got enough stuff going on in my life without watching bloody Twitch. So I don't watch Twitch. I probably miss a lot of your stuff. Is it not possible to download a video and then upload it on YouTube?
You can actually.
Yeah.
You can go to my channel on Twitch, go to videos, and you can actually watch the video on demand for them. Up to 90 days, I think it is, after the video has been done. So yeah, but if you don't watch it,
It's just not having enough time. And lastly, Panther, what about yourself, mate? Have you got is there any new directions you want to take your channel? Are you quite happy just with what you're doing at the moment?
More of the same, mate. North by northeast and keep going. Literally, that's what I enjoy doing. We've already started talking about another Sid show. Gameplay videos.
I'd like to take
Jeff.
part in the Sid show, to be honest. I know it's the three of you, but I'd like to take part in the Sid show because I love the Sid. I really do.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, guys. I've thoroughly enjoyed having the four of us on. If nothing else, it means I can go for a piss and fucking nobody. But no, seriously.
Did you go out? No one noticed.
It's been fucking phenomenal having the four of us on stream, and I think it allows a far more kind of flowing conversation.
Did you get anyone else on tonight? Because obviously I didn't get to watch it. Because
Retro Russ dropped in for about 20 minutes, and you saw him. You missed me slaughtering Dell 2-0 at football.
Yeah, I got the joystick out to put the 64 on, but we didn't get to that bit.
Yeah. So listen, if you guys are up for a Chums Talk Pish or a Friday Waffle in this format, then let me know, because I think it's worked really well. I mean, we're now coming up to 3:58. Fucking 4. I said to Dell, we'll probably get an hour out of this, mate, and here we are.
Well, I've only done about 40 minutes, so fair play to the rest of you. But that's a third of a charity stream, Al, you've done there.
Yeah, I did mention to Panther in the Friday Waffle. I don't know, it just Archer McLean's death kind of resonated with me, thinking fucking hell. So I'm determined this year I want to do another charity stream for cancer research. We'll get everybody in, and I'll see who I can get onto the channel, so maybe we'll do that in the summer or something like that, guys. So listen, I just want to say a massive thank you to the people that have tuned in tonight. I mean, it's a time you should be spending with your family and your partners and what have you. So
it's been with the family as well. So,
I do appreciate
and you in the background
tuning in. And finally, I just want to thank Panther for coming on, mate.
Well, you're welcome, mate.
And a big shout out to Dale. Keep me right, mate. So listen, guys, you get to bed, and we'll catch up. We'll catch up soon.
I'm going to get into a spaceship now.
All right, guys. Happy New Year, folks.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Hogmanay.